things are happening. So many things are happening, but one of those things is the NGE Shadowverse Open number 10.
10. I wanted to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I wanted to. You beat me to it though. It's week 10.
Yeah, week 10.
It's week 10.
Mm-hmm.
Final week. The
we
playoffs
got
are next
10
week,
weeks
and the
through.
finals week after that.
That's 10 weeks of people playing through the Open tournament and making it to the finals, and then champions being made, playoff invites being sent, and lots of people getting points on the leaderboard.
Hearts being broken. Yeah.
Lots of hearts being broken. A lot of people were really heartbroken. But let's take a look at the overview of the Shadowverse Open and see how these players made it to where they are at now. Open entry tournaments. We're on the last open entry tournament. The winner receives the playoff invitation, and that means that they go to the playoffs phase 1, which is going to be 16 players total. 10 players at the most, but now only 9 because the 7th has taken 2 of those invite spots. So 9 players will be directly invited, and the rest of the players, the rest of the 7 players there, will be taken from points on the leaderboard, and they will fight off to playoffs phase 2, which is going to be the top 8 of those 16 players, and they will win cash prizes and fight it out to see who takes first place, who grab the lion's share of the money to be had. And I'm excited to see who's going to make Season 1, who's going to close it out and be the champion of that, and really, honestly, the champion of kind of Tempest of the Gods here.
But also, who's going to be the grand champion of the tournament, and who's going to have the highest points throughout the whole season? That could be 2 different players.
Could be different. Could be very
Probably going to be
different.
the same player. Got a few in mind. Could be.
So
I
you
say
think
probably.
it's going to be 7? The 7th? Because currently he is kind of the highest points earner.
Right, but he's not far behind by Noah. Not leading by much.
We'll see today if that'll change. These players playing today are not without prizes either. There's a weekly prize being given to the open entry tournaments. Obviously the last one, so this is the last batch of vials to be given out. 30,000 vials to first place, plus the weekly champion flare and a direct invite to the playoffs. Second place gets 10,000 vials, third, fourth, 5,000 vials each. And then all participants will receive the NGE Shadowverse Open emblem, which I'm sure a lot of people already have.
We don't even have those.
We can never have them.
There's so many more people in the world that have those beside us.
We can
Like,
never.
Hundreds of people.
Can never approach them.
Yeah.
If we see them, we have to look away.
Have to look away, bow.
Yeah. We have to just give it the respect that it deserves, you know?
Basically. Something I'm used to. Something you and I are both used to.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Because I'm just a lowly human in this
worm.
big world. Yeah, I'm a worm.
I'm sorry. That was so mean.
Oh my gosh.
Ah, jeez. He's such a target though. Like he just like accepts it, and I don't know. It's great. It's great. Say something mean to me because now I feel bad. Can you? Are you capable?
Your beard is weird.
Ah. I don't like that.
I feel like a lot of people like your beard.
It's a good beard. I mean,
I feel like that's the
pretty
main
good.
reason why people even like you.
Wow, that was good. Did y'all hear that? That was choice. That was really nice.
Nothing is nice about me. Let's take a look at the brackets and see what we have in store for today. I think we're having too much fun. Mana Surge's Noah again. It's not a surprise. It's not. I should not be surprised, yet still I am. But his opponent has yet to be decided. Mana Surge's Icy Stars back in it again. Played in a few of the early tournaments and took a little bit of a break and now is back. Kadeemer X, actually really active in the Discord, and Kadeemer is super helpful to new players. He's really enthusiastic in general and has like a very competitive mindset, and he's made it to the broadcast. I'm excited to cast that match.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Kadeemer, for being so great. Lest, of course, there. We've seen him before.
He's our 3rd highest points earner right now across the whole board. Really great to see him back in round of 8.
Yeah, love to give him the name, the Imperial Dragoon. Because he did take his tournament victory with the Imperial Dragoon
finish,
finisher. Right. And then EXG Belaine, who we've seen a while, obviously a very strong player, and a player who really likes to make things like he loves to play certain decks that are a little bit more outside the meta occasionally, especially in kind of EXG tournaments where it's 3-deck, 1-ban kind of thing. But we'll see what he brings today. He might look to do something consistent. Very strong player.
And next after that, we've got Mana Surge's Jazzy. He's going to be slapping the bass, bringing those fat beats on the trombone. I've been waiting to say that all day long.
Oh, man. Jazzy. We're just...
It's probably Jay-Z.
It's Jay-Z.
It's Jay-Z.
It's Jay-Z.
And my waifu will be playing in the tournament as well.
Really?
Everyone.
I didn't
my
know you
waifu,
had one.
Yeah, I've got a waifu. She's great.
It's great. Things changed after MomoCon.
We're different people.
Oh, man.
This is going to be great.
Hey, would love to take a look at our current leaderboard and see, especially now as the season is kind of closing out and finishing up, it'd be good to get a catch-up on kind of who the players we're going to look for in the playoffs are. Obviously, the 7th is going to be the big name.
Right.
The only currently 2-time winner of the NGE Shadowverse Open, and he did it back-to-back. The 7th week and the 8th week both were held by EXG, which launched him up to first place in terms of points. And then following that, Noah's the other big name who's won a tournament and then consistently made top 4, second place, top 8 performances.
And Noah's 100 points behind the 7th. So, I mean, seeing Noah in the round of 8, I mean, it could be massive. If he even gets second place or third or fourth, that could springboard him up to first place.
So there we have, of course, the first ever winner, Kira Mango, a good streamer in the Shadowverse community and kind of a big part of the community as well. And our guest today, Exodium, who you guys will be hearing from again before the semifinals and the finals. And then Lest, who we mentioned, Noah, there he is, Unlucker, Exodium's teammate, JZ, the 7th who we mentioned, and then Shugo, the most recent winner. And now we're looking to decide who open bracket number 10 is going to be. Good English. Of course, the current top 6 there on the side are the people who do not have direct invites. So they are next in line, or they're the ones in line to be invited by points to the playoffs. We got Omega, Auto Aim, Potwasher, who had been doing really well last week, Stoles, SP Marts, Alternative. These are the guys who are slated to make it by way of invite into the tournament, and obviously one more there because the 7th is holding 2 of the direct invite spots. So we have that to look forward to.
All in all, it's looking to be a really exciting playoffs.
The first day of the playoffs is going to be next week.
Yep.
But that's not the only thing that's going to happen next week. Would love to let you guys know that Shadowverse is going to be in Los Angeles at E3. So if you're in the area, definitely make sure you come by. And if you're going to E3, please stop by the Shadowverse booth. Would love nothing more than to see you there. The Twitch booth is going to be where the Shadowverse space is going to be living. So there's going to be a Shadowverse gaming zone Tuesday through Thursday that you can go play some Shadowverse. They're going to have a whole bunch of setups. You're going to be able to sit down and kind of talk to Rednew, who's a Masters level player and streamer. You're going to be able to see a good community cosplayer, Moon Jellies, who's going to be there. Make sure to meet her and kind of get to know what she's all about. And just play with a bunch of side games people and win prizes for it. You get promo cards, the physical cards that we showed off, as well as kind of just getting to hang out and get that Shadowverse experience.
Yeah, if you weren't at MomoCon, getting to go into the play zone and playing the game, you're not just meeting us and meeting other streamers that are there. You're meeting other players that you're getting to play alongside with and meet people. I know that's scary for introverts. I'm an introvert, I get it. But getting to meet other people who also like the game, when you can finally get to geek out with someone else in person, it's the coolest thing in the world.
That's not the only thing that's happening at E3 for Shadowverse, though. On Monday, there is going to be a E3 PC Gamer show where there'll be a big reveal, so make sure to stay tuned for that. As well as on Thursday, there's going to be a Twitch interview where you get to hear Hafu actually talking about and helping reveal 2 new cards from the expansion that's been announced. So make sure you tune in for that as well. And Exodium talked about the Dark Angel Olivia statue.
Right.
Participating in his tournament is not the only way to get one. There's also going to be a giveaway that's going to be happening around the time of E3. Make sure you follow the social media channels for Facebook, for the official Shadowverse Facebook, as well as the Shadowverse game Twitter to find out more details.
Man, I'm going to have to sign up for that. That's pretty sweet.
About how you can win yourself a Dark Angel Olivia statue. So, those are all the things happening around E3. Definitely come by. Definitely, if you're in the area, check it out. And would love to see you down there, kind of hanging out and doing Shadowverse stuff.
Rainey, I've got a very important question for you.
Yes.
It's super important and pertinent to the things we're talking about today. If you had to ride into battle, either riding Ouroboros or Demon Lord Ector's steed, which would you choose?
Ouroboros or Demon Lord Ector?
His steed.
His steed.
Not riding the Demon Lord himself.
I think I would choose I think practically I would choose Demon Lord Ector's steed because riding a horse is like a pretty known thing.
Okay.
What happens when you ride a dragon?
No one knows.
Nobody
No one's
knows.
ever actually ridden a dragon before.
Nobody's ridden a dragon before, so that seems pretty scary. But I don't know.
I don't know. That's kind of why I would want to, like, do I want to ride a dragon? Yeah. Of course I want to ride a dragon. This is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah. What? So you would choose Ouroboros?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I would choose Demon Lord Ector.
I feel like all, like, the power in the card of Ector is from the horse, though. He's the real MVP that no one talks about.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
The horse is a Demon Lord.
The horse is the demon lord?
Yeah.
They're the same thing?
Yeah. The Ector is a horse.
Ector's the horse? You're just, golly, man. I'm the most gullible person in the world. I was, like, so believing you. Like, oh, no way. That's so cool.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No.
That's great.
I'm just a fat liar. Can't wait to get the tournament started and jump into our first match here. We're definitely going to see some Ector. I expect that.
Definitely.
But we between Icy Stars and Kademir, which is going to be the first match that we're going to actually get to see, I wonder, Exodium mentioned, and I've seen this as well, where Nephthys Shadow has become more and more popular. It's been kind of being brought back. Just the board flood and kind of the speed at which you can get kind of the Lich drops.
It can do really well against mid-range Shadow. Specifically, it's a great matchup against there.
Yeah, you can actually get some strong boards. Defensively, it can actually be really strong as well. So I'm interested to see if that's going to be a big thing that's going to make it to the later rounds. And it's also interesting to consider how Sword is kind of falling out a little bit, but Noah's still playing real strong here. So lots of questions, and we'll see. Speak of the devil.
There's a battle
Who
underway.
is that? Is that
Bow before
Latham?
Dark
It's Latham and
Dragoon,
Forte.
ruler of the skies.
This Dragon on Sword matchup. We haven't seen Latham. We don't see him that much, do we? He's a cool guy. He's a great leader.
He has to close his mouth, though.
He's just, all those bugs are flying in there, man. Especially if he's like running in a battle with his mouth open like that.
The thing about Latham is he's always just super keen on getting the Evolve Orb started. He's just looking at that counter, just.
He's focusing. He's not going to miss that for 1 second.
Yeah.
Also, swing going down on the Ivory Dragon there. Not the best trade, but I mean, you're getting to take off an opponent's fall, and we're getting your own knight on the board. But still, definitely would have wanted to use that on a stronger follower like this Lyra Archer, for instance. But he does get the Mage Leader down. He's going to be able to pull Albert or maybe Luminous Mage.
There it is. It's going to be the Luminous Mage. Now, the interesting thing here is in terms of board control, the 2-2 is going to be a real thorn in the side of Kademir, and the fact that there's just a whole bunch of 2 defense followers makes it very annoying, particularly for the hand that Kademir had. Just 2 1/1 followers on the board. It's not great. Geno, of course, picked very often for this reason entirely, that you can really fly forward and control, and gives you that turn 4 rhythm, that turn 4 tempo that you need.
Going first, specifically, because on the next turn, Icy Stars is going to have to trade into that with his Rahab, and that's 4 attack that the Rahab is going to be down in health.
So we'll see. This is going to be tough. The Evolution Orb decision is going to be important. Kademir did draw the Luminous Mage, so
he's got that to
gonna
trade
be
in the
kind of
Rahab.
saving
Yeah, it's
grace.
going to be very nice. The Mage could be left with 1 defense, but he's going to summon the Floral Fencer here to trade into that, just to get like a little bit more of a board presence. He does spin that Evolve Orb, so he's only got 1 left, but he does have the Luminous Mage, so I don't think he's going to be running short on Evolve Orbs anytime soon.
Yeah. What's really interesting here is Icy Star's particular lineup here seems very aggressive. You got the Griffin Knight, you also have Forte in hand. It seems very kind of face-oriented, but has not been able to get necessarily so much damage onto Kademir himself. And I wonder if that's cause for concern, especially with Front Guard kind of waiting in the sidelines. And Spocky is a great card to have against Dragoncraft.
Yeah, especially when you're spending your turn 5 only on Angel of the Word Evolve, and then he was able to ping the Floral Fencer for 1 damage. That's great. And gaining a little bit of tempo with this 4-2 follower, but still, I mean, it definitely as Dragoncraft, you want to be making those turn 5 plays much more worth it. Even a Draconic Fervor would have been nice there. But, I mean, something like that would have just left Kademir's board even more massive. So I like the choice to go for tempo.
She's going to go for the Geno here. And that's kind of going to earn him 1 damage plus the board control of the 2 additional knights. And that's interesting to think about, right? Because there's definitely a consideration where is 1 damage worth throwing away the rush. You still have Evolution Orbs to spend, and I don't I don't know what the right answer is, but it certainly is efficient in the sense of getting the last word effect to happen as well.
And drawing into another Luminous Mage here, this evolved Knight could be absolutely massive, giving the other Knights buffed attack damage as well. They could trade into the Kai'Sa and the Carrot as well, but it's just going to be the Luminous Mage for the evolve.
That's going to be good. It kind of forces Icy Stars into a situation where he has to really respect the board state. Because it could just blow up on him real quick.
Now Icy Stars is in Overflow, and he's got the 5-cost Forte in his hand. Might want to play that for an evolve. There's no real options that Kadimir has in his hand to get rid of that. He would need, I mean, the Tsubaki, of course, is great. I mean, he's got that to just kind of take that off the board immediately.
So he's got 10 damage, and if he evolves, then that would be 4 more damage on top of that. So I think he has 14 if he opted to play the Alwidas, plus evolve the Luminous Knight.
Gotcha.
We'll see if he evolves the Luminous Knight here. And that's what we were talking about with the Tsubaki being such a valuable card in this situation, especially when you have board control. And Kadimir going first with the double Geno in his hand allowed him this scenario where he has strong board control and the ability to swing face for a lot.
Right, there was a lot of resources that Icy Stars committed to that Forte using the Dragon Emissary to get it in your hand, and then you finally play it on turn 7 when you're in Overflow, and then Tsubaki just comes down, and it's really like a golden ticket for the Swordcraft player to run away with this game. And Icy Stars is already at 9 health. Kadimir's at 11 health. But there's a lot of pressure that Kadimir has, and that's going to be Icy Stars bowing out.
Yeah. And a lot of it came down to kind of the situation that I feel like it played ideally into Swordcraft's hand, right?
Right.
You gain the early board control. You have that Floral Fencer evolve. All of these are big things, big goals for Swordcraft. And then you get the Tsubaki on time with board control and the Luminous Mage Knight evolve combo to gain the bonus damage. Basically, every single thing that Swordcraft could imagine going right for it went right.
Yeah.
And so Kadimir, looking real good.
Getting
looking
a
real good to push on.
picture-perfect Swordcraft win there, I'd say.
We'll see what Kadimir's alternate deck is here, and if Icy Stars is going to opt to swap off of the Dragoncraft deck. Now, I feel like that there are certain things to think about in terms of Icy Stars. I feel like had some pretty solid early options, just in the sense of kind of having 2/2 cards against 1/1 cards, but Kadimir made a lot of very good choices to kind of push them off the board. I wonder if Icy Stars is kind of thinking twice, and it looks like he's going to change to his Swordcraft deck, and I kind of like that, just in the sense of like, look for something else for now.
Right, especially with these mulligans we're seeing. Icy Stars with a 1 and a 2-drop. He's got Geno as well. He's going first. That's going to be massive amounts of tempo. And Kadimir, he's got 2 Draconic Fervor. He's got some clear with Breath of the Salamander, but there's no real way for him to gain a foothold in this game too early. It could be too late for him by the time he's able to get those Draconic Fervors. On turn 3, he does have Imprisoned Dragon. That could be an absolutely massive card. So I think he's not feeling too bad about his hand.
Getting rid of the 2 damage drop was actually really important, I think, because that damage really adds up. Now he only takes a ping for 1, which is going to... Oh my god, what is this hand?
Zeus and double Genesis Dragon.
That's interesting too, because most decks, at least prior, you would see them run only 1 of those cards. This is running both of them, plus an extra copy of Genesis Dragon.
And Icy Stars being able to draw into Demonic Strike there, being able to take out the Dragon, and then he goes for face with Fervid Soldier and the Goblin as well.
But this is the last turn, right? He can actually Draconic Fervor and heal up. Now, if there is no good top deck here for Icy Stars, actually not in such immediate trouble, just because they can't swing immediately. But the damage might add up if there's no good kind of board clear situation.
Icy Stars is going to evolve the Goblin, just go for face damage here.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely the right choice.
Right, and Kadimir he can still trade the Aelia into the Floral Fencer or the Goblin.
Yep, he really does not want any of this to stay.
Right, having the ward is going to feel really, really nice. Taking out the Floral Fencer is great, not giving Icy Stars a chance to evolve that for free, but he's got another one in his hand. He's got a Geno too. This is turn 6.
Yep, definitely a play here. Is he going to evolve the Quick Blader? I think that puts Kadimir in a very awkward situation. It's going to leave him at 10. And that's definitely a dangerous level to be at
Oh, man,
against.
Kadeemer could ramp twice this turn. I think that's what he's going to have to do. What's the draw? It's Sybil.
Oh, it's Sybil, yep.
Really
super
great.
smart. I really liked how he leaded with the Oracle.
Right. Spending the low-cost card with the draw first, seeing what he gets, and it really paid off.
This is going to help because the healing from Sybil, plus if he were opt to heal more, and Sybil is not removed, he's going to keep healing up, and that's going to be very effective for him. He needs to get himself out of that kind of least lethal storm range.
Right, and now in Icy Star's hand, Pompous Princess with a Palace Fencer, great cards, but
here.
I mean, he's going to have to really get rid of the Sybil on the board if he wants to make a lasting impression in this game.
So still kind of a dangerous spot. Going to pass the Sybil, and we're at 10 play points now, so...
Oh my gosh, that's so many resources that
I think
the
that's
Bahamut
scary,
could take
though.
out.
If you play Bahamut, you don't have a ward. If you top
Right.
deck something, I mean, 8 damage is a little hard to reach, especially without an Evolve Orb. But it's
even
a
if
little
you Zeus or Genesis Dragon, there could be a Tsubaki coming up in the next draw for Icy Stars. There's either way, he's taking a risk, no matter what. He's so low on health. It's gonna be really tricky. There's so many pros and cons to weigh with the choice to make. You get the ward and the Bane with Zeus. That's massive because that could just pay dividends.
But the fact that he has 5 damage is so scary.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go for it. He's going to go for Zeus, and that's going to remove one more card here. So 5 damage. If Tsubaki comes through, it's not a death.
Another Palace Fencer, and there's still the Floral Fencer in the hand of Icy Stars. He's going to have to just throw that on the board immediately without an Evolve Orb.
Lots of cards being thrown in here. What a big drop. Still alive, too.
And now Kadeemer, I mean, feeling a little bit more
Genesis
comfortable
Dragon?
for sure. He could
11,
Genesis Dragon
7.
7, yep.
Yep. For a total of 18 damage.
If he does that, and then Icy Stars draws Albert, I mean, what a game that would be.
So he's going to heal up 3. That's going to put him at 14. Oh, he goes for the board control.
Yeah, definitely the great choice here.
He's going to heal up. And still has to push through that ward on Zeus. So it's looking real... Whoa. Dang.
Icy Stars tapping out.
Kadeemer.
Kadeemer taking 2-0 in the round of 8.
Look at him go. Real safe decision making as well.
Very safe.
And very high pressure situations too, in terms of just there were a lot of branching options, and I think he chose the right ones in both games. With his Swordcraft deck as well as with his Dragoncraft deck, it just feels very practiced and very refined.
Right, and there was a few moments there where Icy Stars knew, okay, I need to ramp up the damage here. I have to evolve this Goblin and go for face damage as opposed to evolving the Floral Fencer, but it just wasn't enough, and Kadeemer was able to hang on and take the game.
It's so interesting too because Kadeemer is this guy who's been playing in the Shadowverse Opens week after week after week, and he was talking about, okay, this is the last week, I got to step it up, and I'm going to play my heart out.
Nice.
And he's obviously made it through the early rounds, and now he's going to the semifinals. Let's take a look at the bracket and see how that plays out for him here, what his potential opponents could be. But it's just a great feeling to find some traction now.
Right.
And obviously, he's going to need to kind of push very far forward. He's going to need to go all the way to the finals. So that match was kind of the second one you see there. Icy Stars and Kadeemer. Kadeemer 2-0. So he's going to be on the upper end of the bracket, fighting off against 2 big players here.
Noah and Limits.
And Limits, who we've seen multiple times in the top 8. It's not going to be easy.
We'll see if Noah surely is going to have his sword deck. We'll see if he maybe has the Shadow or the Dragon deck that he brings to the table. But Kadeemer, you made the point about him having very practiced decks, and I love that. I love seeing a player, you can see how much thought he's put into each and every card that he's placed in his deck, which is absolutely what each and every one of these players have done in the tournament so far.
Absolutely. Good performance from Kadeemer. We'll 2-0, and we're going to see who his opponent will be after the result of Noah and Limits, which is going to be the next match from the round of 8 that we get to spectate. This one is interesting to me too, because Noah still has that opportunity to bounce back and be a 2-time winner himself. This is his last chance to do so, and what's especially important for that is if he wants that kind of Season 1 MVP title,
Right.
he's going to want to take that tournament win because that's going to rocket him ahead of the 7th and really guarantee his spot there.
But also, Limits is kind of here again making a stand as well. So, I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle for both players for sure. Either way, exciting matches to watch. Cannot wait to get into the game to see.
We've seen Sword Shadow and Sword Dragon so far. So
right.
it seems like Sword is still kind of
Sword's still making a
hanging in
name
there.
for itself. There's still a lot of swords in there.
People just really like Swordcraft in the
Right.
West, I feel like.
And I like that Icy Stars was bringing a slightly different deck with the Pompous Princess and the Palace
Yes.
Fencer, a much more aggressive deck.
Yeah, he was trying to really play aggressive here, and I think it's interesting because I feel like both decks kind of failed him in that regard, right? Obviously, actually, a lot of aggression coming out in the Swordcraft scenario, but I do feel like he didn't draw. I mean, we saw 2 Floral Fencers plus the Geno. The Geno is quite nice for the ability to rush, but that's more kind of board control-ish. You know, it's not really swing face,
Right.
which kind of is at odds in some ways. I mean, would you have preferred to have Alwidas? Would you have preferred to have Alberts, you know?
Right.
Not sure. And then for the Dragoncraft aspect of it, I feel like he just couldn't ramp up the early game. He didn't find an opportunity to play the Griffin Knight for a long time, for example. And by the time he dropped Forte, he was in a really bad spot. Couldn't really race.
And Noah is bringing the Vania to week 10. Not bad
2
at all.
incredible decks here. Noah, is he going Blood Sword? Is he?
He's got Goblin
I
Mage.
feel like
It
he's
could
a
be a
diehard
Baphomet.
Swordcraft player. So it might be just Blood Sword. And Limits is bringing Runecraft?
Runecraft, Algerb, a Mutagenic Bolt. Man, these are decks that we don't see every day. Certainly not in the NGE Shadowverse Open. I am excited to see exactly
Melvi!
what's going to unfold.
Oh my god, it's the Daria Mutagenic Melvi. Well, to be honest, I don't know if Daria is really there, but I would assume.
It's a safe assumption.
We've seen deck lists with these cards. Specifically, there it is. That's actually really good.
That's
On the
really
second
great.
turn, you pull Daria.
And you've got Magic Missile, you've got Levi, you've got cards to really get the spells in your hand as well.
Oh, and the Piercing Rune too. Levi and Piercing Rune.
And he's got a great turn 4 play. Evolving the Levi and then Piercing Rune on that same turn is going to be absolutely massive. But Noah, he's got the Baphomet, he's got the Mask, Spiderweb Imp as well. He's got the options as well. I mean, it's gonna be a tough fight.
All right. Blood Pact is it. And passing that turn, I think, really hurts Limits here, because that's going to give Noah quite a lot of momentum, and that's concerning. Noah's nearly putting himself into vengeance at this point.
Right. He is going to be able to clear the board here and keep the it is Snakes. It is Snakes. Came up that last Blood Pact there. He's going to be able to clear the board and being able to do damage for some to face, and you get the Crimson Sorcery in your hand as well. We'll see. He might just play it. He's not going to play it this turn. I mean, that would put Noah right in vengeance on turn 5. But keeping Noah at 11 health, definitely a great play here.
Turn 5 at 11. Got the Enhanced Baphomet. That's going to pull the Snake.
Oh,
it's
the
a
enhanced
5-cost
snakes.
Snake.
Oh my gosh.
And the Baphomet evolves to give him a little bit of tempo here. Concerning. This is real concerning. Now, Mutagenic Bolt, great. Great against Snakes. Let's see how that interacts. How many Mutagenic Bolts does he have? How can he keep up with this? And the big thing about it against Blood is putting itself at lower health already.
Right.
So in terms of that race for the Flame Rats, you're probably going to lose out on that.
And Noah just like drawing out there, already having 9 cards in his hand.
Oh
It's
boy.
real difficult place that Noah's found himself in, especially when the spells are just ramping up that Daria even more.
Razoring Claw. He's not going to opt not to play the Snakes here.
And I was in Vengeance, and he's got the Diabolic Drain. That would put him right back at 11 health, but then I would be able to take out that Ulger for sure.
So the interesting thing here is if Noah delays, you almost don't want to play Daria because you're throwing away your Mutagenic Bolt.
Right.
If you know that your opponent's playing Snakes, that's an option that you really, really, really want to have. 2 Darias in hand as well. This is getting a little chaotic. Decision-making has to be very careful here for Limits.
Yep, especially drawing into that second Daria. Not what the Daria player wants to see for sure. And he's not on a turn where you can even play Daria. He's got a full hand. The one Daria is at 7, the other's at 9. It's going to be real difficult. Do you get rid of the Crimson Sorcery? Do you use the Angelic Snipe?
Melvi, drawing cards.
It won't be long now.
Yep, and Noah was already at 7 cards in his hand, so Melvi did not give Noah any cards, but now Noah's at 6 health. He's got 2 Diabolic Drains. I mean, he could easily take out the Melvi, get some health back as well, put himself in a more comfortable position. But he's already in Vengeance, and he's got the 5-cost snakes.
What a deck from Noah. What the heck?
Guess if you really want to make that snake attack twice, that's the card to have.
So he can extend his life a little bit by playing the
Diabolic
mask,
Drain.
or rather
The mask.
his amulet. Yep.
Right.
I believe countdown pushes 1 value for every point of damage you take to face.
He's got to get rid of that Melvi. He's already at 6 health, and the Melvi has got 6 attack. I mean, he knows he has to get rid of that card. Do you spend the Diabolic Drain? You don't have any Evolve points. Or Revelation. I mean, real difficult. Because even if he snakes, I mean, there's just Mutagenic Bolt coming out next turn from Limits.
And that'll kill you, right? Because then it passes to your turn, and the bolts just go boom, boom, boom.
Bolts go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep. 5 damage.
And then there's an Angelic Snipe and a Magic Missile waiting in the hand of Limits.
He plays the ultra defensive option here.
Get some health back and a very pretty 5 damage shield with the countdown. But there's Craig, there's Magic Missile, plenty of options that Limits has to spell boost those Darias down. But I mean, this is what you said. I mean, when you play the Daria and you don't have a target for the Mutagenic Bolt, you risk getting rid of the card and then not having it when the snakes are going to come out.
Maybe, just maybe.
He's continuing to boost up here.
It'll work this time, maybe.
So it's really a game of chicken. Who can hold their options first? It's a little tough for Noah since he's at lower health. But he still has a pretty decent amount of healing. 1 evolution orb left on the side of Limits too. And there's not a lot of bursts that can come out necessarily if you don't have something like Enchanted Blade.
Right. But still, he's gonna
playing
play the
Serpents.
Serpent.
Now he has a second iteration of Serpents waiting. And yeah, there are ways that he can control the situation here. Even if he does get Flame Wrath, if he survives, right, that there are ways that he can play out. The question is, are you going to survive?
There's Mutagenic Bolt could be coming out this turn, but there's also
We've got
Daria
4 or 5. Oh,
well.
no, the amulet is there. So he'd do 3 damage. That would be exactly there. Yeah, that amulet is actually doing a lot of work. Now, the big thing is it completely stops damage from 1 source of damage, right? So if Emilo did 4, it wouldn't spill over and do 1 damage to Noah. It'd do 0, and then the amulet would disappear.
Right.
Which is important.
Yeah, very important to note. But I think it's going to be the Mutagenic Bolt that's going to have to come out this turn to be able to just get rid of those snakes. There's no wards in the hand of Limits. He's got no other way to really deal with it.
He could Mutagenic Bolt and Daria.
Right? Yep. The spell would bring Daria down to a 2 cost, getting rid of all the other cards in his hand.
There it is.
Oh, man. Thinking about the Daria. It's only 2 costs for a 5/5 follower, but that gets rid of every card in your hand. But it also spell boosts the cards that come back in your hand. I mean, I think that's going to be absolutely massive. We'll see what the draw is going to be here. He's rolling the dice.
Oh my
no.
God!
Nothing to spell boost, just a bunch of spells and a Craig.
God! Oh, that voice line is
All right,
horrendous.
we get it. You're on fire. It's
That is just horrendous. Hungering Horde, not the most useful.
And there's a Revelation in the hand of Noah. I mean, that's massive. I mean, you can trade with the 4 rats, bring Limits down to 10 health, and then just clear the board, and he resets, and he still has a snakes in hand. The if he wants to use that on the following turn.
Yeah,
He can
and
Spiderweb Imp as well.
He's not sure. I mean, that could have been a whole bunch of Blade Mages in Limit's hand, so it's
You're
gonna
right.
be-
You're right. Yeah, Noah has no idea, but getting the War, that's got to feel just a little bit safer.
Oh, man. Oh, God.
Oh, no. Still,
Got
that's...
4 damage for 8.
Okay,
Ogler?
he gets a spell boost.
Oh!
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, he's trying to draw into options so hard right now.
Maybe, just maybe, this magic will help.
He still has plenty of... He's got 6 face damage total. I mean, if you evolve the Ulger here, then you get the full effect of really being able to reduce the
he
cost of
sets
the
it back.
piercing runes.
Yep.
So, oh man, saving that
Still
Evolve
a
Orb
very
is
dangerous
absolutely
situation.
crucial. Very dangerous.
A second revelation. Now, the interesting thing is because, okay, now there's a follower on board. That means that face damage is actually available because as long as Noah doesn't actually have a follower, Piercing Rune nor Dance of Death can actually target anything. Oh!
There's the Blade Mage. He's got the spells for it, and the Evolve Orb.
Tone with your lifeblood.
Evolve, Blade Mage, double Piercing Rune, and then face.
This ends here.
There
Yep, that's it.
You'll be riddled with blades.
There it is. Daria Runecraft. Would you imagine that? And of course, it was probably the ideal situation for it to be played into.
Right.
Snakes versus Mutagenic Bolt is not a happy
Very
situation.
solid counter. No, definitely not a situation that a Bloodcraft player would want to find themselves in. But alas, it's going to be Limits taking the first game against Noah.
Especially kind of thinking about how that played out, where he couldn't get to snakes in an efficient way. I feel like there might have been a setup if he had been really well positioned to kind of play snakes, but also have the options ready to go kind of on turn 5. It's really tough because you have to play the Baphomet Enhance as well. I don't know.
And there were a few turns where Noah was spending the Revelations just to clear board to try to keep himself alive, to draw on the options he needed. And there was a moment there where I thought the tempo had really shifted in his favor, but spending that time, spending all those extra turns really just allowed Limits, the Daria deck, to draw into the options it needed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah. Vengeance Blood is super interesting just because it puts you that much closer. It's a risk-reward thing, right? Blood Moon is so interesting just because it is a skip your turn card, but it does provide you with Qualified Roar?
Man, what are these decks that we're seeing today?
Well, this guy is certainly breaking the limits of what we expected.
Hey, I like it. Not bad.
Noah's trying again.
You
He's
staying
trying
with
to
the
make
deck?
snakes happen. He holds another snakes in hand, which that's not cool. It's not great.
Not on turn 1, no. You don't want Maelstrom Serpent in your hand on turn 1 for sure, but Limits not feeling too bad about his hand. Ivory Dragon right into Unica. He's got the 1 and the 2 drop. Plenty of time to draw into an option for turn 3 and 4.
Oh, and Blood Moon does exist in this deck. And that's kind of knowing that Blood Moon existed in that previous scenario based on how the game was playing out for Limits, Blood Moon would have been the ideal drop.
Right. He's going to be able to spin the Hungering Horde here to take out the Unica, and he's set for Blood Moon next turn, which would reduce the cost of Diabolic Drain and mitigate the damage that Spiderweb Imp would be sending out. So setting up many plays further on down the line for Noah, and playing the 3-drop Amulet. Yeah, you're going to take another point of damage from the Ivory Dragon, but you know you're just going to be taking damage anyway. You might as well just get that Amulet on the field anyway.
So what's interesting, Noah has he has 2 turns left to draw a Baphomet. And if he does, he's actually done pretty well for himself getting all his combo pieces that he needed.
Right.
You are my food.
Opts to play the Spiderweb.
And there's not even turn 4 from Limits here. He's going to have to pass his turn. Doesn't even want to attack the Spiderweb Imp with the Dragon there.
He draws into another Serpent.
He's still got 1 more turn to draw into Baphomet. So don't count him out yet. Noah's crossing his fingers. We'll see what the choice of play here is for Noah. He's got the Razory Claw as well. I mean, Ivory Dragon's not looking that threatening, but he's going to evolve the Spiderweb Imp here.
3-6 is nothing to laugh at in terms of reward.
No, that is absolutely massive. It's more health than a Rahab.
Razory Claw as well. Doing a lot of face damage.
And now they're both at 14 health. Limits does have Draconic Fervor here, 3 of them at that. Or the Sybil as well. I mean, the evolved Sybil.
Just barely get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Interesting choice to play the Draconic Fervor rather than get the follower on board. Guess he wants to save until...
He wants a self-healing?
Right, yeah, save that until you're in overflow.
Another Hungering Horde in hand. There it is, and finally the Blood Moon comes down.
4 turns until he's out of Vengeance from the effect of Blood Moon. It's going to be the Sybil finally coming down this turn. He still has Ivory Dragon in his hand as well for that extra draw now that he's in overflow. Ooh, came into an East refill for next turn. Not bad at all.
Very strong options here. Serpents are very tanky, though. The AoE on Israfil is certainly not going to clear them out, but it's still a lot of damage to handle.
Right, and there's a Bahamut as well in the hand for limit. So if Buddy's only going to be on turn 9 next turn, I mean, if the Serpents come down this turn, excuse me, they're not going to come down this turn. He hasn't Baphometed them yet. So there's still a few more turns for that. So Limits is going to be able to have the Bahamut to take down the Serpents when they do come down.
Now he has Mask. He also has some removal. Hungering Horde and Diabolic Drain.
Yeah, being able to take down that Sybil and the Hungering Horde for the, man, massive value coming out from those 2 spells that Noah had in his hand.
Boy. There's some face damage down the road here.
There's some massive face damage. There are 2 Sahak Whales as well, so he's got that option when there's followers on board in the next few turns for Noah.
Such a precarious situation.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, do you play Easterfield this turn? I mean, he's going to
There it
heal.
is.
He's going to overheal just a little bit, but that's still just a massive bomb that Noah's going to have to deal with. And there wasn't any pressure that Noah had on the board, so playing Easterfield, just getting the followers, saving the Evolve Orb too, still having that for the next turn.
It's not a great play. Ariette, just without any other card on the table, is obviously not the best spend.
Right. I mean, he's going to have to play the Mask, at least mitigating 1 attack from Easterfield or the Forte coming down.
Man, this hand situation just not quite getting there for Noah, I feel like. He got halfway through the trip, but couldn't quite close it out. We don't know the result just yet, but it's
going to be real difficult to come back,
really tough.
especially only being on turn 7.
I mean, that's 12 damage from Israfil right there, plus you have Forte, so...
Yeah, the Mask is going to be able to mitigate at least 1 of the attacks. So Hawk Wheel's not an option. I mean, yeah, there's no followers to attack with the Bahamut that would be summoned, but still, I mean, this is,
So
a
forcing
real
himself is
precarious
gonna knock
position
out
that
the
Noah's
amulet.
found himself in. Yeah.
Yep. Can do 12 here. Gonna do 10.
Yep. Saving the Evolve Orb. He knows he's got the momentum. He knows he's going to possibly win the game.
Oh, man.
Man,
You can't, yeah.
Yeah, you
just-
can't deal with that. I mean, even if you evolve and take out the Easterfield, you can't take out the Forte. That can still just be evolved next turn, and that's going to be 7 damage.
That's just it. That's it. Limits, I think, is going to be moving on. Going to take down the Israfil here. And he can't attack Forte.
Good job.
Good job indeed. It's going to be Limits moving on to the semifinals to face Kadeemer. Kadeemer X.
O's. 2 O's on the top end of the round of 8 bracket, and Noah bringing a Vengeance Blood deck with a lot of conviction, playing it twice in a row, saying, I'm going to win with this deck.
Right.
And I still feel like That's the big problem, right? It's so reliant. It's like a combo deck that doesn't have any kind of way to kind of fish out its options, as well as it doesn't have necessarily the base kind of cards that you would like to tide yourself over.
Right. But what's interesting is that, I mean, Noah's already going to be in the playoffs. He's already going to be in the finals. So showing up today, like, yeah, you want to earn those points, but you also want to feel out the competition just a little more. You already know you're going to be there, so you've got that safety net. So being able to come into the tournament again, trying out a new deck, I mean, like, that's really surprising to me. That's really, like, exceptional, I think, of, like, wanting to try out a new deck in a tournament format when you've got the free chance to try out in a tournament.
Let's take a look at the bracket and see. So, what this means is the two opponents in the semifinals is going to be Limit 787 versus Kadeemer. Both of them, I think, bring some good kind of innovative, well, maybe innovative is the wrong word, but good kind of solid decks that have their own flavor to them for sure. And that'll be an exciting match to watch. We're about to head down to the bottom end of the bracket and see who between Lest and Belaine and then Jay-Z and my waifu is going to move on to
It's your
semis
waifu.
on the
I
other
thought
side.
it was my waifu.
It's mine now.
Wow, he's calling me out, man. We're gonna like go out in the parking lot and like duel it out.
I don't want to fight. I'm not very good at fighting.
I know.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Please.
We're not gonna fight. We're too nice.
We'll just go and have a beer instead. Please drink responsibly. We don't condone any.
We all drink responsibly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're adults. We have jobs and stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even drink at all. It's orange juice for me.
It's orange juice. Yeah, I don't even like soda. It's just like kind of like water.
It's just water. You know, not even water. I actually just get the liquids transfused.
Do you
into
like?
me.
Oh, that's so gross. Do you like sparkling water?
No.
Are you a sparkling water
actually.
person?
I haven't.
Really?
I can't remember the last time I had sparkling. I can't even think about what that tastes like. I haven't had it in so long. Oh, weekly champion. Right there. Did you see that?
I did.
Thank you very much, Les.
It came in and it was gone right after that.
Come on.
The first shadow deck
What?
we're seeing all day long.
We've got some D shift up in here.
Oh my
Belaine, you know,
gosh.
word on the street was Belaine was trying to make some D shift work, but people were just banning him out. He couldn't play the D shift. Now he comes to the NGE Shadowverse Open and he says, you know what, D shift, it's my time to shine.
Let's
Let's
how
see if
it
he draws
does
it on the
against
fir-
Shadow.
Oh,
my
no!
gosh! Triple magic missile, triple animated magic missile. I love that. That's so great. But
Just
sadly,
like any Runecraft deck, you want to draw your spell boost option right now.
right now. Okay, I mean, it's not the worst. Okay.
Yeah. You still want the D shift right
You
about
want-
now.
Definitely want the D shift, but at least it's not another spell,
Mhm.
right? I mean, all in all, not too bad. But I mean, considering what Les has in his hand, it could be a very bad. There's a great hand for Les. He's got all the early drops right away.
Now, he's got a lot of early drops, but he doesn't have an oomph, right? He doesn't
Right.
have an actual, like, powerhouse of a petrification.
You could turn it into a
The Medusa Flame Destroyer.
turn the 2/2 drop into another 2/2 drop. I've never seen that. That'd be really funny.
There it is, training the Golem with the Soul Squasher. But this is kind of what we're talking about in terms of, like, you need a little bit of firepower behind this, right? You have a lot of small, chumpy followers, but if you don't have something like Ector, if you don't have something like Cerberus or Phantom Helmet or something like that to really convert this into something significant,
Right.
you could just end up having these slowly whittle away and not quite do enough damage, and then
Mhm.
before you know it, Belaine is having fun playing the game by himself.
With his sorcery cache and his petrification. There's
There
the
it
D
is.
shift.
There it is.
On
It's a
turn
little bit
4.
late, so it's probably, I would estimate maybe like a turn 7 D shift.
That's a fair estimation. I'll ride that boat.
All right.
I'll go along with you
We'll
on
see.
that.
Ooh, Shadow Reaper. Interesting. So the other part of this for the Shadow Reaper is typically there's no follower to suicide your thing on, so Shadow Reaper just ends up coming out of ambush and then getting pinged by a magic missile.
Yeah, sadly.
Coming
Yeah.
for
But this is pretty
you.
good. I mean, you have 2 damage and the Evolved Skull Beast for 3, so you kind of do want to spend resources to remove it here. It's mostly going to be a race, I feel. You don't have your Golem there. There's
Mhm.
nothing to petrificate.
Petrify.
Petra.
There's nothing to petrify.
There's nothing.
It's
to
a verb,
petrify.
right? To petrify.
Yeah. I suppose I was
Yeah.
thinking about like putting the petrification card on, so you petrificate your thing, and then it petrifies the.
Petrificate is not a word. First of
Yeah.
all, I wish it
Okay.
was a word because that's a great word.
But yes. But what do you apply the ability to petrify something to something? What is that word?
To petrify, you petrify something.
No, but it can't.
It's like
do it
zap, you're
normally.
petrified.
It's a buff, right? Okay.
Right, I guess. I mean, maybe I'm just not following. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah,
sense. It makes sense to me. I
This
don't know.
conversation would take a much longer time to explain. He's got another D
Got
shift.
another D shift.
And
oh
he's got
my
the
gosh.
Time Ward Mage.
The
He's
zero
as old
cost
as dirt.
flame destroyer too, coming in that card really early in the game.
Yeah.
He was able to spell boost that all the way up.
The big thing is you would like to have this Flame Destroyer on your D shift turn to guarantee that it kind of survives, but now there's definitely a target for less to be
Ooh,
like,
coming into a Cerberus on turn 5. Ooh, that's not bad at all.
very nice.
I am the Mad Cyclone.
It's gonna save that for possibly turn 6 or 7 when you can play Coco or Mimi on the same turn as well. But either way, this Flame Destroyer is gonna go down, and that Shadow Reaper is gonna get fed, man.
Yeah. I mean, the Flame Destroyer is actually mitigating a lot of damage here. But a good line of play from Lest. Clear it out, does 5 damage, and now you are still kind of in a tough spot.
Yeah, you're
Levi
kind of
plus the Crimson Sorcerer could take down the Reaper here.
I'm just a mage who's as old as dirt.
That's mitigating a lot of damage, and I really like how this game has turned out for Balian. I mean, he's got all the cards he needs. He's got plenty of spells. He's got D-Shift. He'll most likely draw into the spell boost followers, the Blade Mages, the Flame Destroyers by the time he needs them. Hopefully.
I wonder why he
And
did it that
meanwhile,
way.
Lest only has 2 cards in his hand. He's got Cerberus, which is great, and Skull Beast as well, so he's going to be able to certainly gain the tempo back here, but I think Balian is really sitting pretty.
I wonder why he did it that way. Is he dead if he passes the turn here? Alright. He needs to make sure to remove that. He doesn't have Evolve Orb, so that's going to be 5 damage on the Skull Beast in total.
He still has the Wind Blast,
Or
though.
5 damage. Yeah, he does have removal.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely, I think, wants to remove.
Sorry, gotta go.
There it is. His hand. Wind Blast. Nice. Okay, so it's turn 7. But you definitely don't want to D-shift here, just because you need to play a follower and then D-shift and then sweep with the follower.
Oh my gosh. And meanwhile, Lest wins the game.
No,
He doesn't have an Evolve Orb.
Yeah, he
Ah,
doesn't
dang
have
it.
Evolve.
Bummer.
So it's 5 plus 4.
Unbelievable.
Is he going to save Mimi? He might use it. Oh, he's going to use it. Okay,
He's
great.
going to use it. It's real dangerous. So the big thing is, do you think he has another Phantom Howl?
Another Phantom Howl, another Cerberus, maybe a Mummy.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the Shadows for it. There are plenty of options that
Yeah.
Les could draw into next turn.
Yeah. And there's no wards in
Mhm.
Craft, right? There's no healing, so it kind of doesn't matter for Blade.
Right.
He just kind of has to pray to the higher being. Okay, there's some good spell boost here.
Levi
There's
without
no
an
Evolve Orb,
Yep.
and there's nothing to Wind Blast.
Mhm.
But if you play Levi, you can Petrify it. Or Petrify. Okay, see what I'm saying?
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Still, I'm going to say Petrify.
There it is.
Well,
Well,
it's not bad.
it's a top deck. It's a top deck scenario here.
Sure.
Huh!
Oh my gosh!
God! Oh man!
Oh man, Lest.
This is a difference.
He believed.
Because there were 2 turns on the first play point, on the second play point, and I guess on the mulligan as well.
Mhm.
This is a difference. Those early turns make all the difference for when your D shift comes in, right? We see now D shift is 3 play points here,
Mhm.
right? If you had, and honestly, maybe the safe way to play would to just be D shift early and try to get yourself another draw and another turn to kind
Right.
of figure things out.
Right.
Not the ideal play anyways, and that's kind of like really shooting for the moon.
Yeah, he was
you know?
able to draw into D-Shoot by turn 4.
Not
Which-
the worst,
not
but
the
it makes a big difference. It makes a huge
But the big difference was that he didn't draw into the Flame Destroyer or the other options that you would like to have
Yeah.
by the later turns. And so those cards were bombs, basically.
I want to see him try D-shift again. I want to see him do it again. I want to see him make it work.
We'll see how it does against the Imperial Dragoon deck that Lest is sure to run. We'll see if it is. It's going to be Dragon. And Balian is sticking with the
Guess
D-Shift.
you're looking for a fight.
Sticking with the D-shift.
Dragoon.
Not bad. He
Ruler of the
comes into
skies.
Levi.
I would throw away the Flame Destroyer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to get the... well, Merlin.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
The only thing is Merlin is turn 4, which is if you get turn 4. You can spell boost it quite a bit, right? It's also the
Right.
rate of which you spell boost. And if you have multiple sorcery caches, you just really hammer home that...
And Balian's going first, so I mean, even on turn 4, he's not going to have the Evolve Orb, so that Merlin's
Yeah.
not going to be able to attack the same turn that it's summoned.
Yes.
Oh, he's got the
Ugh.
Magic Missile. Okay, great. Still No D-shift in sight. We'll see what the draws are going to be. He's definitely going to want to be fishing for those options for sure.
It's looking like another one of those games.
Yep, and Les has got the Lyrial, and he's got the Aelia as well. So
What's with
and
people
the
getting
Sybil.
triple 10 drops on Dragoncraft today?
He's probably just got a lot of 10 drops in his deck. That's how that
That's
works.
very true. That is very true.
The more 10 drops you have, the higher likelihood. I'm sorry, that was right.
No, you're right. You are correct. Good sir.
But you're right. We don't always
Whoa,
see
Scrap Iron Smelter.
like turn 2, 5, 10 drops. Oh my gosh, there's the third Bahamut. Yeah, that's unusual. That doesn't happen all the time.
Unusable. All right, that does not look pretty. 4 damage on the board, plus Evolve is kicking into gear. And got the Scrap Golem.
Just to at least mitigate one attack. It's not gonna be able to destroy anything unless it's evolved.
Flame Destroyer could be played soon,
Mm-hmm.
but so could Merlin. I think
Merlin
that's
and Angelic
probably-
Snipe next turn could be really nice.
Yeah. We'll see, the Merlin may pull a D shift here.
It very well
Do
could,
it.
especially. Yeah, I mean, Les is gonna have to spin to follow.
There it is.
Gets the D shift. Great.
But it's even later than the previous turn. There is a Sorcery Cache.
Ooh, trying another spell boost card. Not bad, man. Merlin value, especially now that Les has to, unless he draws, Blazing Breath or something like that.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to summon a follower and spend an Evolver and trade into that.
Wrathdrake? Yep.
Yeah, probably the Wrathdrake.
Super
My
important. You
hand
do
is
not
down.
want to let Merlin swing again.
There's
Right.
a lot more
That's
where that
real
came
bad.
from.
Unless there's a Calamitous Curse. We've seen the Calamitous Curse, but I mean, in the Petrification as well. So, I mean, like, unless you're able to draw into those options, I mean, that's just 2 spots on your board with those sigils that's taken up that you're not able to really use at all.
I'm just amazed.
But, I mean, when you do get to use them, when you do get the Calamitous Curse, oh, that's got to feel so good.
It's just like back in the old days.
I mean, Belaine has set himself up for a pretty good situation.
I'm all
Triple
tuckered out.
1-drop spells is going to turn Fate's Hand into a 0-drop. And then you still got Magic Missile for more draw. And your Flame Destroyer is coming up to 0 cost.
Right.
This all is very, very important because once you get that 0 cost Flame Destroyer, you can play a D shift that is equal to your play points, but still have that Flame Destroyer be relevant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually a big game changer there. The only thing is Belaine has no more Evolution Orbs, and that could change the math for how many swings he would need to close it out.
Man, drawing
A
into
second
Sorcery Cache.
Yep. And he's going to be able to spell boost a lot because he's going to get a 0 cost Fate's Hand. Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
God. Oh god. Oh man.
There's another Flame Destroyer that's still 10 cost, though.
Okay, so he could play D shift on the next turn.
Right. Flame Destroyer, D-Shift.
He probably wants to spell boost it out a little bit more. Oh my god, the Zeus is actually huge
Yeah,
here.
that's absolutely massive. I mean, he's trading into that's going to be so difficult trying to get rid of that follower on board.
No.
Even with, I mean, Calamitous Curse, he's going to have to get the Petrification here, honestly.
Yeah.
Try to deal with that. Oh my gosh, he did. No way. I'm good at this, man.
So he actually could play the Destroyer Petrification and D shift, I believe, because it's going to push D shift down to 5 cost. Yep.
All must come to an end.
There it is. Yep.
Man, and that was absolutely stellar. More spells, and now he's got a 0
Wow, he's
cost
really
Flame
winding up
Destroyer
for
and a
one-hit
5
kill.
cost Flame Destroyer
Is
as
he
well.
dead? No. I actually think Belaine has won it out. He's going to drop double Flame Destroyer. That's 14. But he can't get 2 turns here. I think
Mhm.
maybe Fiery Embrace.
It's gonna be difficult. He might just have to trade the Flame Destroyers into the Bahamut. If he's, I mean, yeah, he's not gonna be able to win the game here.
I think he's going to need a Fiery Embrace.
Huh.
There's no Evolve Orb, so Levi won't give him that. He can still D-shift, but he's going to hold.
Les could just summon another
Oh,
Bahamut,
I think
honestly.
he won.
Yeah.
I think he won. I think Belain just won here. Well, it depends on what he draws.
Yeah.
Yeah, because either way, the Flame Destroyers are only going to do 14, right, on the next turn. That's not enough.
No.
If you play the Merlin, you could maybe end up in a situation where you draw a spell. D-shift, that's going to boost the Destroyer and the Fate's Hand. You play all your followers. Okay, so that's 16 damage, 19. He needs to draw a ping. Fate's Hand?
Fate's Hand,
Spell
yeah, for what?
boost.
For 1 damage for a magic missile or something.
Yep. Fate's Hand.
Oh no.
I think Calamitous, no, won't do anything for him.
Well, now it'll banish
Yeah,
straight
okay,
into
there it
Levi
is.
into it. That was really
Wow.
really clutch.
But Bahamut's going to come through and clear all of that out.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Or
and the
evolved
Israfil.
Yeah, man. Oh, jeez.
He's going to want a Bahamut because the Israfil won't actually kill everything. Yeah. Triple Bahamut is real tough.
1 damage short from getting the killing blow, from getting the OTK there with D-shift.
Insight?
Oh my gosh. He's fishing, man.
Oh no,
Oh,
he's done! Oh no! And this is the reason why things like evolution orbs are such a huge resource. A lot of people talked about how kind of in the Rise of Bahamut kind of period of time, going second was big because you saw a lot of Runecraft decks, either Daria or D-Shift, and then you saw a lot of Forestcraft decks, which were very Evolve Orb reliant. D-Shift, for this example exactly, where you want to spend your Evolve Orbs on things like Merlins, on Levi's, and stuff like that, but you also want to make sure you have enough firepower at the end of the game to come through and have your Flame Destroyers get that little bit of extra damage and actually kill out your opponent, right? And so in that scenario, he had to use Evolution Orbs to Levi, to clear, do all this kind of stuff. He just didn't quite have the ability to do enough damage to finish it.
Right, yeah, Les' deck was absolutely performing up to par. I mean, he drew into those 3 Bahamuts by turn 2 or turn 3.
Yeah.
And he was still able to survive and put enough pressure on the board to make those Bahamuts useful on turn 10. He could have just kept playing them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, let's take a look at the brackets. 2-0 for Les. Both times a D-shift falling just a little bit short. Came real close there in the round of 8, but not able to make it happen. And Belain has probably been beating people all the way up to the round of 8 with D-shift.
With D-shift, man.
But just couldn't make it happen there on stream. And we'll be able to soon find out who Les will be facing against Jay-Z and My Waifu. So, a lot of interesting names here. Obviously, Jay-Z and Lest are going to be big to watch for in terms of kind of who is going to make that win happen. Noah already knocked out. On the other side, we've got Kadeemer, who is a player that we talked about quite a bit, and Limits, who have not earned themselves victories yet, but are consistent competitors in the Shadowverse Open.
Right. Very heavy swingers, very heavy points earners, too.
It could end up being a fight between people who have won a tournament and people who are working to win their tournament, and who's going to, am I going to take another for myself, or am I going to share the wealth,
And there's such an interesting turnout of different teams that we've seen so far that are already going to be in the playoffs. And also a mix of lone wolves as well. Cure Mango, a streamer who's big in the community, going to be facing off against these teams. I mean, could be interesting to see and to think about what the training process is going to look like for the preparation for like someone who's by themselves or someone who has a team.
The other thing too is Cure Mango was the first win, right? And that was 9-10 weeks ago. Who knows what he's
It just
doing
hit me
now.
how long ago that is.
Yeah.
How much time that is.
He was
That's
the
crazy.
first one ever. So, lots of interesting questions. More games to come. We've seen some very interesting decks. Daria, D-Shift. We've seen all of it. Daria's into the semis.
I feel like we've been to the moon and back with all these different decks. Face Dragon, but also Sahak Wheel Bahamut Dragon. Oh, man. Crazy.
Oh, there's the Havencraft and another Runecraft.
And there's a Rune versus Haven. I don't think we've seen a Rune versus Haven matchup in 10 weeks of tournaments.
Okay, so this is probably going to be Mutagenic Daria. So, interesting thing is, I feel like where Excelsior Vindy's thing was when he showed up on the show, all the XG members in the tournament gained the buff. When Shadow Nexus's Exodium showed up on the show, everybody had their decks transformed into Runecraft.
That's a fair point. I can't contest that. The logic is sound.
The logic is sound.
Dwarf,
All right.
Alchemist, and Red Hot Ritual. What a
That's looking real dirty.
looking real dirty.
Looking real dirty up in here.
Definitely. And Test of Strength. I love Test of Strength Aegis so much. I think it's such a strong deck, and he's able to draw into the Dark John.
Uh-oh.
John, not John.
Dark Johnny. Dark
Johnny.
Johnny and John. They're twins.
No!
Would you, if you had twins, would you name them John and John?
Yes.
You're terrible. You're awful.
This is also why I've decided to never ever have children. Ever.
Ah, very good. There won't be a little John and a Jean running around.
Oh, so cute. Oh, it's gonna be the 2/2 Catacomb, the man himself.
The 2/2 Catacomb, Runecraft's Catacomb.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, there's healing that with the holy water that Waifu's trying to use just to stay alive, but there's already
so much removal
a
actually on
significant.
the side.
Mage of Nightfall, that ward. Oh my gosh, this is huge. Excuse me, not the ward, the ambush. Oh man, it's gonna be a lot of pressure
There's a lot
that
of damage,
Jay-Z's
but you're
putting
only
on.
You're only on 5 play points as well. Oh my god. Aggro Dirt? Is that a thing?
Aggro Dirt's a thing, man. It's been a thing.
I mean, I feel like this is just incidental, but
Yeah, next turn you just evolve the Nightfall, and man, that's game. Oh my goodness. Haven't
What?
even gotten to Themis yet. Goodness gracious, and there's Piercing Rune in the hand of Jay-Z as well. He's got the options he needs to close out the game, and it's already turn 5.
is this...
I have lost.
Did we just see Dirt Rune win?
Against Test of Strength Aegis, yeah. I mean that's how the matchup would go. Dude, Aggro Dirt is strong.
Oh, what day is it?
It is a Tuesday.
What time is it?
Almost 6 p.m. PST, of course.
Am I still asleep? Or is this happening?
Rainy, you've been asleep for 40 years.
And Dirt Rune was greeting me? Oh my god. That was literally, he just played stuff. He got Dirt.
And the Haven, he didn't have Blackened Scripture
Yeah.
or any of the other removal options. I mean, it wasn't Guardian Sun or anything like that with Zoe, so he wasn't able to mitigate a lot of the attacks coming in.
He didn't have anything.
He didn't have Dirt Rune, man, running away with the game.
And he just evolved and went face and won it. I have never seen a game that convincing. in a
Right when
long
Test of
while.
Strength first came out, Dirt Rune was one of the first decks that I've played, and I've known that it's great this whole time. I just haven't said anything.
Oh, wow. Hipster, are you?
So hipster.
Come on.
I take full credit for that victory.
You're taking credit?
Jay-Z, I'm sorry, I'm not taking credit. You're awesome.
Oh,
You're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Shadow Hand is...
He could end up drawing into some great stuff here, but we'll see.
Meanwhile, there's a pretty great hand for Jay-Z. Oh, he just drew into Belphegor as well. This is another great game for Blood.
I think Jay-Z is channeling his, as they say, the what is it? The champion's luck. What they call it?
What are you talking about?
What?
Sorry.
People
sorry.
say that the greatest warriors and heroes, one of their hidden attributes is their luck as well.
Mm.
You know, it's not your super strength. It's not your ability to do amazing things. Sometimes it's it's the luck of the draw.
Very true.
It seems
In a
to
card game,
follow
quite
certain
literally.
people. Sometimes it seems to follow certain people around. I feel like, oh, Angel of the Word,
This is God's word.
Boom.
easy. The sniper gets sniped. How do you feel about that, Lariel? Angel of the Word didn't even have to evolve.
Man, they're like angel buddies too. They just have to like kill each other. That's pretty
Yeah.
sad, actually.
They're using
I'm thinking
plunger
about it.
arrows.
plunger arrows.
Yeah, using plunger arrows.
Just getting hit in the face with a toilet plunger.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that one bit.
After it's been dipped. It's been coated. It's been blessed.
Is this like summer camp or something? Like, are these like teenagers like pulling pranks? What is this?
Oh no. Oh no.
He's got the Shadow Reaper. Oh my gosh, he's gonna be able to just sit on that board.
Would have
turn
much
goes to
rather had
Jay-Z, yeah.
Eurus sitting there when that happened. But Belphegor comes out, and
Oh,
that's
man.
going to put a big, beefy 6/6 on the board. And
Just 7 damage right to Jay-Z's face.
and Diabolic Drain is a thing.
Coming out next turn, that could be able to just completely mitigate the Shadow Reaper next turn. Depending on how buff that Shadow Reaper is able to get, there is Cerberus Enhancer who's going to be able to evolve that next turn.
Just thinking about the best way to trade out this board. I think you don't quite have the shadows to Soul Squasher, so... Oh, well, there it is. Because the Spartoid Soldier, obviously, the last word.
Yeah, it gets a plenty of shadows. But man, I mean, now that Belphegor has been played and Jay-Z's only at 10 health,
God, rough.
Phantom Howl is a real concern.
Yeah. Phantom Howl, Evolve Orbs, Cerberus
Yeah,
is about to be
he's already
installed
he's
here.
got 9 damage right here on the board if he
Yep.
wants to evolve.
Oh
my goodness. And just putting Cerberus, I mean, it depends on what Jay-Z is able to do next turn. He's got Dark Air Jammer as well. He could get another ward if he's able to do that.
You want to be careful with swinging too much face because you could just die to Jay-Z.
Right.
We'll see.
Especially at
He's
14
going to
health.
board clear, and then the 5 damage to Belphegor there.
Right.
That's going to make 4/3 on the Shadow Reaper. So 4/3 plus 2 plus 4. And that's 10 damage there on the Shadow Reaper. You need to remove it. And the Diabolic Drain should just do well enough.
Diabolic Drain should be able to do it, or the Evolved Dark Air Jammer. Being
I
able
think
to
the
have
Air
the
Jammer is
chance.
the play.
Being able to have the chance to get ward. Yeah, very true. Of course, it could bring up 2 Ambling Wraiths or 2 Blood Wolves.
I hope to God he didn't put 3 Ambling Wraiths in his deck, but
Yeah, does not have the best of synergy with Dark Air Jammer. But it's going to be the Dark Air Jammer. He's saving the Diabolic Drain for as well. He doesn't get the ward.
it's not the worst.
You're right, it's not the worst. Oh man, and the Urius, that's got such a strong counter against Phantom Howl.
But he's still dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still dead. 10 health, Phantom Howl, with the Mimi and the Evolve Orb.
He needed the ward.
Yeah, I needed the ward. Sadly, my waifu still coming to town, man.
Eh?
You're mean.
I guess
4
he
on the
only,
Phantom Howl,
Uh-huh.
1-on-1 on Coco Mimi.
It was
Plus
only on turn
Evolve.
6, so it would only have been 9 damage.
No. 4 for the Phantom Howl, 2 for Coco and Mimi, right? Then you evolve. So
How
you
many
have-
shadows did he have?
He had
He had enough
he had
shadows
enough.
for 5. Yeah. 5 plus 2 plus 2. He was only on turn 6. So he could only have played Mimi or Coco.
No, they're both 1.
Oh, they're both. I went to college.
I
have a
went to college too. That was the thing that I did in a previous life. Situation still stands though. You need to get rid of the wards here.
Right.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Every single, all of the wards.
So
which
you've
you
got-
can do, but then you need to find some way to heal yourself out of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Got the Razor Claw into Diabolic Drain, keeping himself right at, still in Vengeance. If he still wants to play
Diabolic Drain.
this turn.
2, 3, 6, 8.
Okay, this one's all me.
Wait, if he Diabolic Drain and would have killed the thing, then he had 4, 6, and Evolve, he could have killed him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
What is
you're right.
happening?
What is going on? You've got these like hawk eyes today, man. I don't know
Wait,
what's
okay,
going on.
Please play the Phantom Howl.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm coming.
Now please play either Coco or Mimi. Is he dead to Urius?
For you. You're too strong.
Oh my gosh. There wasn't anything else that he could have done, man. Dude. Oh, man. The headset is off. His head is in his hands, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely stellar. Rainey cannot believe what he just saw. I'm basking in it. I'm basking in it because that was such a fun game to watch. Rainey can't believe it. Woo. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. And we're going to game 3. This is the final round of 8 of the week 10. Oh, my gosh. Wow. Was that 2 missed lethals? And then... And 2 missed lethals. Oh, that was a 2-0. Yeah, what am I talking about? I'm just... Wow. This is nuts. I got nothing. This is great. This is great. All right. We done? Have we recuperated? I think I have.
I have
Maybe
no
I
idea
haven't.
what's going on. We need to go to the bracket. We need to get ourselves in line. We need to shape up here. Okay? We need to shape up. Limit 787 and Kadeemer in the semis. Less than Chasey on the bottom end of the semifinals. I will never feel like this statement is more true, but it's been an amazing ride in the round of 8. And the outcome was certainly unexpected.
I don't think week 10 could have gone better. There was nothing, like a dragon could have like attacked our building. And then I would still be like, but we could have also, this could have happened, and then that would have been cooler. Like, so good. So great.
He died to Urius.
The ghosts. That's so great. That's so great.
I don't think there was a way. I mean, did he have any removal?
He had Hector. It was only
Hector would have killed him too.
Yeah.
Because there were 2
all the
Uriuses,
zombies,
so
yeah.
if
I
you
don't
play
think
a thing, you're dead.
Yeah, very true.
Hey, you can't sign up anymore, but you can find the leaderboard as well as the rule and the schedule for the broadcast at shadowverse.ng.io, where the top-end Shadowverse games are shown. The most competitive, visit us. And if you want to talk about what you've seen, if you want to share us your feelings, if you want to talk about kind of the
Talk about nihilism and its effects on the human psyche.
at WatchNGE, social media. Make sure you guys check the Twitch panels for information about how you can win 3,500 vials from the giveaway. Definitely check those out. And the Twitch panel will give you more information. Also, we are going to be at E333. E3. Shadowverse in Los Angeles.
I think it's just called E3.
E3.
I'm not positive, but
Yeah, we're going to be doing a number of things. Monday, make sure to tune into the E3 PC Gamer Show for a big reveal, Shadowverse related. Also on Thursday, there's going to be a Twitch interview with none other than Hafu herself, talking about Shadowverse overall and revealing 2 new cards from the expansion that's about to be coming out. And then make sure you visit the Twitch booth at the Shadowverse Gaming Zone, and you can play with other side games people, with Red New, and check out our local community cosplayer, Moon Jellies. She's fantastic. Make
does
sure
she
you come
dance?
by
Does
and
she
say
dance
hi.
like that?
No, that's me.
That's you.
That's
Okay.
actually
I figured. I just wanted
disgusting.
to clarify for the viewers.
I need to rethink my life, just recover from what just happened. So we're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, the semifinals of the NGE Shadowverse Open number 10. I think I'm all braked out.
Yeah, had a breather,
I had a breather.
sip of water.
My feet are on the floor again.
Nice.
There
Heads
are
out of the
some-
clouds. Yeah.
There are a good amount of decks in the semis. There's a good amount of decks in the semis is the way that
There-
I put it.
There's 8 decks in the
Mhm.
semis. Did you see me?
Were you counting there?
No. What are you talking
You
about?
seem to have trouble counting 2s and 1s.
Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8. Bam.
There you go.
College.
All right, let's take a look at the bracket here and see what the semis are for today. Limit 787 on the top end with Kadeemer X. They're going to be facing off to see who moves over to the finals there. 2 very, very dedicated participants in the Shadowverse Open now have the opportunity to move on to the finals. We'll see which one makes it out. And then on the bottom end, Lest and Jay-Z, 2 veteran players. One very unique and in kind of his reimagination of Dragoncraft. And then the other with a game that I don't know really what to associate words with.
Kadeemer?
No, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Yeah, right.
I'm not really figuring out what I want to say about that game.
I don't think I've ever seen Urias in a game. Most of the time,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
spectacular.
Spectacular. And I think Jay-Z may have purposely played out his hand that way to get the Urias lethal.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
I think he may have done that intentionally. But, yes. So, with that, let's bring back our special guest, Exodium. Exodium, how are you doing? Did you just witness what we witnessed?
Yes, craziness. That was a super fun game to watch.
Yeah, wasn't that great?
That
Did
was so
we-
good.
Do we need abaci on our desk? Abacuses? What is the plural of abacus?
I think it would be Abakai, yeah.
Abakai.
Abacus.
That sounds like a
Yeah.
really biblical name.
Yes, it
Abakai.
does.
The Lord summoned you.
Your great grandfather.
Oh man, abaci. Hey, that should be a Runecraft card. Abaci.
Time Worn
Yes,
Mage
I'll
Abakai.
take it.
Abaci, the math.
Old man words are exactly where Rune needs to be. So.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so with that, Exodium, you're joining us to talk about the semis and how it's going to move forward. Let's take a look at Limit's deck here, one of Limit's decks. And Limit 787 has kind of, been a participant in the Shadowverse Open and done pretty well for himself. Take a look at this Dragoncraft deck here, and it's the big thing to me is that it seems like a lot of people are very storm focused in their Dragoncraft decks these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you notice the general tendency to go to Storm because the ramp package isn't as consistent as it used to be, right? Because you don't have the Zell finishers, so you need to be able to finish the game with Dragon, which has always had a problem with. So that's why you're seeing Storm.
The other question that I have is, and if you could comment again on polyphonic roar. What the heck does that
This
do?
is a new development to me. Okay, so I've seen a couple of these on the ladder. I did not know it was as strong as it was, but in my mind, it's just extra endgame, right? It's just more Storm followers every single turn that you can back up and remove.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it seems like he's substituted the Polyphonic Roar for an Ouroboros because he's not running that card at all. What about the one Chaos Dragon Rider that he's running in his deck? Why the one? What's the goal with that?
Possibly just as a tech choice versus the mirror and maybe other control decks just so we can bring a Bahamut online maybe a little sooner, or maybe one of those polyphonic roars a little bit sooner, something like that.
Gotcha.
Great. And of course, his opponent is going to be Kadeemer. And Kadeemer brought a great Swordcraft deck for himself. And I feel like it actually worked out pretty well.
He's got Roland.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about how you imagine this deck playing out. Obviously, we didn't get really to see the Roland, but Exodium, how do you feel about this particular list?
Realistically, it looks just like Midsword, except it's a little bit higher on the curve for, like you said, Roland and some front card generals, probably as tech choices against things like Dragon, D-Shift, and things that he was planning on facing. And good for him, that's what he's seeing. So,
yeah, interesting too. That read on Runecraft, D-Shift, Daria, so much craziness in the semis. I almost can't believe that it's it's a thing.
did
here.
somebody say Rune?
Yeah. What the heck? The instant you came on the show, people just started playing Runecraft.
What have
I'm
you
loving
done
it,
to
man.
our show, man?
What have you done?
Rune takeover.
The Rune takeover. How have you been kind of? What did you think of the round of 8, and who do you think is kind of slated to move forward and take the win here today?
Honestly, the round of 8 played out really well. I think that the lists that are actually most poised to win are Limits' lists. I like his decks. I think his Daria deck is very well positioned right now against what he's planning to play against. And Lest also. Lest has the mid shadow. He's the only one left with mid shadow, so I've got to give that a little bit of, a couple percentage points.
You'd be a fool not to.
Right.
So that's as always, we always trick our guests into making predictions, and we don't do it ourselves. So we've had Exodium
Safe.
submit his thoughts. So it's either going to be Limits or it's going to be Less. I think he's biased towards L's. But very interesting. One last thought. I'd love to pick your brains as kind of a Runecraft player about kind of the draw tendencies of Runecraft. For example, for Belaine in his D-Shift games, it really seemed like he just couldn't acquire the options that he needed. What do you do in a situation like that?
You just don't. When it's a D-Shift and you don't get the cards that you need early enough, you just don't, essentially. Daria is a little bit different in the fact that if you don't, you still have a lot of burn to like make up for it, and even Melby to redraw your hand. And in that Dirt Burn rune that you saw, you don't need to draw any specific cards. You just go face, right? So,
Incredible. Lots of variety of Runecraft decks that we saw today. But we're about to hop into the game, so Exodium, we will see you before the next semifinals match. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Let's see how this semis plays out for both Limits and Kadeemer.
Let's see what the matchups is going to be. It's going to be Limits on his Dragon and Kadeemer with Latham.
Oh,
Still
Limits.
catching those flies, man.
He's rocking that NGE emblem.
Not
Did you close
bad.
your eyes?
I wasn't looking. I was looking at Latham. That's what I was looking at. I
You
was
did?
like, wow.
Okay, so you have to acknowledge that the emblem exists, but then you can't look at it directly. So,
Oh, it'll turn you to stone. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. If it's happened to the other Sterling that was on the show.
Yeah.
I'm his clone.
Yep.
I don't know if you knew that.
All right. The tried and true Latham sword. It's a special brand of swordcraft.
And yet we don't ever actually see Latham play the card, sadly. Does not have the best of synergy with mid-range sword, but Full Sword Swing does, and that's going to be able to take out the Unica. There's Ramp in the hand of Limits. I mean, he's got the options he needs, I'd say. He's going to be able to survive with his Grimnir just a little bit more. And coming into the turns, he's got 2 Sibyls and Draconic Fervor as well. I mean, if I was Limits, I'd be really comfortable in this sword matchup. It's exactly what the Dragon player needs, I'd say.
Fantastic situation, yeah, for Limits. Just putting a stop on this turn 3 aggression here from Kadeemer. But Kadeemer's moving into kind of the first evolution point.
Right.
That can be important. It kind of goes both ways, right? Dragon really likes the early play point because they can ramp even faster than they normally could. But on the other hand, evolution orbs are such a precious resource for Swordcraft that it can be very valuable. It does mean that the front guard general is going to be kind of one step late in comparison to everything else.
Right, and with so many cards that give a significant number of followers on the board, we're seeing Floral Fencer right now. I mean, having that extra Evolve Orb is massive because with Luminous Mages as well, there's possibly not a turn where you don't evolve, honestly.
So this turn is a little bit awkward. Depends on the draw here. Dragoon Scyther, double Dragoon Scyther, so it's going to have to be Sybil Evolve. Basically meaning you can only kill the Grimnir here.
And he doesn't really need the healing. He's already at 20 health, but still, I mean, you want to be taking out that Floral Fencer. I mean, leaving the 6/5 Sybil on board, it's got to feel good. I mean, knowing that next turn it is going to be able to get the healing, so Kadeemer is going to have to deal with that. He could Luminous Mage if he wanted to trade into that. It's going to be the Floral Fencer, though, just getting even more followers on board. Saving the Mage for another turn.
So this particular Floral Fencer will end up falling here to the Sybil.
And there's no AoE clear in the hand of Limits. This is a massive board that Kadeemer has got in his hand.
Kind of in the same scenario, right? Unless you top deck something special here, the Grimnir, he's just going to play the Sybil. So, again, only going to be able to take down one card.
He does get the healing this time, and he was able to ramp even more. And he's got more healing in the following turns as well with Draconic Fervor. Still, only on turn 9, even if he were to draw into a Zeus or a Bahamut, not going to be able to play that. And Kadeemer is going to be dropping down the Mage this turn. possibly evolving the Luminous Knight, trading that into Sybil, and then going for face for 6 damage with the, or excuse me, more than that.
Attack!
There it is.
All must come to an end.
That's a massive amount of pressure, and Limits still isn't on his 10th play orb, so even if he does draw into a big option, he's not going to be able to play it this turn. He's got the 2 Dragoon Scythers,
Oh,
so
boy.
2 opportunities for Storm.
Yep.
Storm and Bane taking out the mage, really, really nice. And the ramp from Draconic Fervor kind of definitely wasted, and now he draws into the Polyphonic Roar and the Genesis Dragon. Now he's on turn 10. That's great. So a bit of an awkward orb play there because he wasn't able to ramp up to exactly what he needed.
Yeah, it's kind of a dangerous situation here for Limits here.
Right, we'll see exactly what he chooses to do on the next turn. Kadeemer, still on his turn, he's got the Novice Trooper and the Front Guard General as well for that massive ward. And against the Polyphonic Roar and the Storm that Limits has in his hand, it's going to be absolutely great.
Battlefield awaits.
There it is.
But, I mean, Kadeemer doesn't know that. There could be a Bahamut in his hand. But even if there was a Bahamut in Limit's hand, I think Front Guard General is a great play. But he's going to flood the board with some more Storm options and the Maid Leader just to get an extra little bit of security. With getting the Mage in the hand as well. Really nice. Man, those Steelclad Knights have been working it. And now there's a Fangblade Slayer next turn for Limits. Or excuse me, next turn for Kadeemer. Yeah, that's gonna be game 1. Kadeemer is gonna be able to take this game. Just Fangblade Slayer, 1 attack, doesn't even need the Evolve Orb.
There it is. Grimner play and the Fangblade coming down. That'll close it out.
That'll close it out, yeah.
Quite an incredible game from Kadeemer there. And really, I mean, this is something that we talk about ever since kind of, it's a thing that Envy would really harp on as well, where in the Swordcraft kind of deck and the way that the cards are designed and the way that they play out based on you know, how this situation moves forward, the Swordcraft can just run over your opponent, right? When you get the options that you need consistently over and over and over again.
He had Floor Fencer followed by another Floor Fencer, just like so much pressure on the board. And the options, I mean, he had the Sibyls and he had the Draconic Fervor on turn 9. I mean, it was a real awkward place for Dragon to be when you want to be really making those efficient orb plays.
I also really like Kadeemer's deck overall. It's just got a good set of options, right? I really like his addition of kind of the Front Guard, even though perhaps, you know, it's not super relevant, but it just seems like he's playing out his options really well, and he's constructed just a solid deck, and he's brought it here today, and it's playing out really well against his Dragoncraft opponents.
Nice, and now we're going to game 2. Kadeemer could take this away and advance to the finals, stopping Limits in his tracks, but we'll see what Limits does to answer it with his own Dragon deck. And they're both sitting with similar options. I mean, they both have Breath of the Salamander, and Limits was able to draw into his Dragon Oracle. Absolutely stellar. But Kadeemer, he's got the lower cost options that the Dragon player really likes. The Breath of the Salamander, I mean, it's not really useful. There's no followers to use it on, but he does also have the Alia and the Emissary as well. And also, right on turn 2, being able to draw into an Oracle. This is shaping up to be a very even game for these 2 Dragon decks. So we'll see what the turn 4 play for Kadeemer is. He's going to be able to get the Alia and possibly the Ivory Dragon as well. He wants to do that too. And Limits is going to be able to answer it with a Sybil of his own on this turn.
Absolutely. Here comes... Oh my god, what a hand.
Opting to play the Draconic Fervor instead of the Sybil. I mean, he didn't have the Evolve Orb. He wasn't going to get the healing or anything. He wasn't in Overflow. Oh man, and that's Kadeemer drawing into Polyphonic Roar. We could be seeing that card coming down this turn.
Yeah, we just talked about it a little bit too. And definitely an interesting flavor for Kadeemer here. And he's going to be the one that strikes first blood. Going turn 2 as well.
Yeah, the first bit of damage coming down with the aggressive evolved Alia. I mean, Limits, he's going to have to destroy that. I mean, if he wants to get rid of the 4/4 follower that's on Kadeemer's side.
It's really uncomfortable always these scenarios where you evolve a follower that has last word that you really don't want to poke.
Yeah.
You don't want to get constantly pinged by that, so it kind of forces the issue.
Yeah, it happens a lot with Attendant of Night or Lurching Corpse in a Shadow deck. Aelia, similar function.
I've got to take a break.
For sure. And there's 2 Ace Refills in the hand of Limits. He's got that card coming down next turn. Turn 8 for Kadeemer. There's Ouroboros. There's Rahab as well. I mean, the 3 damage right out of the Sybil, that's got to feel really good. Especially now that you have an 8-4 follower.
All
Yeah.
has
Mention.
come to an end.
That's a great Ouroboros drop. Now, the thing is, this damage, I mean, if you opt to drop Israfil, is not super relevant, but I don't know if you want to use the Israfil Evolve just to have your Israfil be left at 2 health.
At 2 defense,
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, you've got to deal with the Ouroboros. It's not going to be the Aetherfill. He's going to redraw with a Draconic Fervor, and it's going to be the Breath of the Salamander to try to get that off the board.
He still also has Dragoon Scyther, so that's an option.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Ouroboros just keeps dropping again and again and
Right.
again. The fact that we don't see it in Limit's hand means that Kadeemer can actually constantly threaten. There it is!
What a risky play. I mean, Limits could have Bahamut in his hand. He could draw it this turn. It's not going to be that.
Oh my gosh.
Kadeemer really playing the odds here. I like it. Taking the risks.
Oh my god. I can't.
So next turn, he's going to get a
Polyphonic
5/5
Roar.
Wind Blast Dragon. Oh my gosh. That's massive. Absolutely massive.
What?
And the turn after that, you know what he's going to get? A Wind Blast Dragon right after that one. Oh my goodness. Huge.
Oh no, that's so much pressure coming out here. He can actually just take out the Sybil for free
He
here.
could
if
have the
he
Sybil.
wants to do
He could Grimnir, maybe evolve the Rahab just to get another massive follower, or Boros as well. He's got the options he needs. But still, I mean, Limits is going to be able to answer this. He's got a Sahak Wheel and then Israfil as well. He could. But still, I mean, those Wind Blast Dragons are going to keep coming out. I mean, Limits is going to have to draw into that Bahamut if he wants to get rid of that amulet. Draw into the Bahamut or just wish that you put
Oh my
an
God.
Odin in your deck.
He's 2 Dragon Emissaries and got 2 Sybils.
2 Sybils.
Oh,
So great.
Man. Got the Enhanced Breath of the Salamander will remove that card and give him the swing for 5 here. And we'll see. I mean, Limits, if he doesn't get a good option soon, he's just going to have to start playing stuff.
He has a Polyphonic Roar of himself. Risky playing at this turn. Very risky. In fact, I don't think
Yeah,
that's a play.
don't.
I mean, yeah,
Don't
don't do
do
that. Do not want to do that. But still, I mean, there's an Israfil to be able to heal. It's almost healing up from the exact damage that the dragon did you -1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would be your...
You do want to remove... You could do a Sahak Wheel.
Yeah, the Sahak Wheel.
Nothing
Israfil-
feels that great.
Yeah,
Nothing
I mean,
really feels that great.
especially because of, I mean, Kadeemer is able to get his Polyphonic Roar on the field first, which is huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. Especially when
And he
both
still
decks
holds
are
the
running
Evolution
that.
Orb advantage and the health advantage.
Yeah.
So you really don't want to race. And he has Ouroboros.
Yeah, it's going to have to be either the Israfil Evolve for the healing or the Sahak Wheel Israfil for the clear. And you don't get the healing, but then you can still, of course, summon the Israfil in the following turns. I mean, just Dragoon Scyther and save your options. Maybe get a Unica. Just, oh man. Either way, playing out the options, and there's just going to be another Wind Blast Dragon coming out next turn.
You've got to see me dance.
So he's going to float 5. There's another one. Oh,
my
my.
gosh.
He's dead? 9, 5, 14. No, he's
14,
1
yeah.
point off.
Goodness, it's going to be the Grimnir to get the ward and the extra 4 damage, but
Yeah.
still, it looks
this
like
is just a compounding problem here for Limits.
Yep, those dragons.
Constantly has to answer to the Wind Blast Dragon. There's the Evolution Orb being
And
spent
a
for
9 cost amulet, definitely getting its worth in this game.
Yeah. What do you know?
And now, if Limits wants to Israfil, he's going to have to attack the Grimnir. Sadly.
Everything Exodium talks about
Fighting is so crude.
comes true, or it comes to fruition. It says
Fighting is
Polyphonic
so
Roar.
sorrowful.
Now we see it.
It won't be
It's
long
going to
now.
evolve here. Sahak probably into Grimnir and then
All
Israfil.
those sacred ones.
So he's
Still-
dead no matter what.
No matter what, yeah, the dragon's coming out. As sure as the sun will rise. As sure as I went to college, that Windblast Dragon is going to be coming out. He's got the ward still, but I mean, like the Ouroboros in hand.
He's
well
got
Genesis,
Genesis,
the ward.
so it's going to be Windblast and then Genesis.
Yeah.
There it is.
He's got more than enough options to play out to close out the game.
When Limits looks into the sky, do you know what he says? Dragons.
Dragons.
There it is.
Dragons for
Redeemer
days, man.
X. How has this guy not made it to the finals before? He is actually smashing fools.
He's been doing his
2-0.
homework for 10 weeks. That's what he's been doing.
He's been studying up.
He's been setting it up. He's been watching the streams. He's been perfecting the decks.
Mhm.
And he's got his decks.
I mean, every single game he's played today has been super dominating.
2-0s in the round of 8 and in the semifinals.
He's just been really, and obviously in this particular lineup, I think he's gotten some very good kind of mulligans and kind of hands overall, and he's had that slight advantage over his opponent. Never squandered it. Made very good decisions, and then in the first round, in the round of 8, I think there were a lot of situations where, sure, like his hand, it wasn't picture perfect, but he made a lot of good decisions there too. So he's going to move on to the finals. Let's take a look at the bracket, and he's going to knock Limits out, and that was Exodium's choice. So Limits is gone now. Kadeemer X will move on to the finals, and he has to face either Lest or Jay-Z, one or the other. And I believe Lest does not have a Runecraft deck, so
Dragon Shadow is
yeah,
what Lest
it's
has.
going to be Dragon Shadow, but Jay-Z does still maintain the Dirt Runecraft
the Dirt
variant.
Runecraft deck that was able to take a game handily against Aegis Shadow. Or excuse me, against a Test of Strength Aegis.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that really aggressive deck can fare against a Dragon deck. I feel very similarly that the Dirt Rune could be able to end the game very quickly.
Absolutely, and it's just been such a confusing day for me in terms of the Shadowverse Open, because this is a very different tournament than what we've seen in the last 9 weeks, really.
Yes.
Very, very, very different. So we're about to move on to our next finals match. And what that means is Exodium will be joining us once again. After a very quick match, Exodium, your prediction is out. Let's take a look at Lest's deck and talk to us a little bit about this particular deck that Lest has.
Yeah, sure. So Lest's deck, it looks very similar to what Limits is running. He's a little bit less reliant on the Polyphonic Roar and a lot more reliant on the Bahamut's, the classic Dragon style. And he has Ouroboros back in his deck as well.
What do you think about taking this 3 of Bahamut and 2 of Zeus? There seems to be a lot of people taking, for example, we saw a situation today where there was a Zeus in hand and 2 Genesis Dragons. I feel like people have been somewhat avoiding grabbing so many of these Storm Enders. How do you feel about it?
I think it's kind of needed. Again, Dragon needs to be able to close out the game, and yes, you can come into those situations where you get a bunch of 10 drops in your opening hand. I've seen people gravitating usually towards the 1 Genesis Dragon, 1 Zeus route, just so they can have that option to do the 2 extra burst damage. But 2 Zeus is just a lot more comfortable in a player's hand because you get that big war damage, right?
Gotcha.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at Jay-Z's deck here, his opponent, and we can talk about this matchup as well. Runecraft versus this iteration of Dragoncraft. Obviously, this is the Melvin Mutagenic Bull kind of Daria. Oh no, sorry, it's not the Daria. This is actually the Dirt one that we're talking about. Now, this is interesting to me. What is the general strategy behind this deck, and what is kind of the ideal picture-perfect scenario for it, Exodium?
So face, 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 face. Okay. So this is a rune deck that actually can high roll more than any other rune deck, as it can just deal unmitigable damage from turn 1 on. And if you can't stop it, it can just kill you. So realistically, just playing on curve for the deck and hitting the right, sigils into the right burn and using all your play points every turn. If you can do that, you can usually eke out any game.
So certainly that's exactly what happened for Jay-Z in the round of 8. How do you feel like this matches up against kind of what Lest has to offer?
So I don't think that if he doesn't draw the most consistent draw he can with it, it's not going to do very well. But if he high rolls with it, he could easily smash either of the decks that Lest has. So that is the wild card.
Easily, he says.
Easily.
Just like you saw it last time, you'll see it again if he high rolls again.
That's the word from Exodium. Thanks so much for the little tidbits of insight, and we'll reconnect during the finals to get your final prediction out of the 2. You might be 0 for 2 in the semifinals, but I'm gonna put you on the line one more time when the finals are all locked down to see if you can kind of give us a little bit of an insight to who the winner is. Now, obviously, if RuneCraft makes it that far, it's gonna be really interesting to see if RuneCraft can actually take a victory in one of our tournaments. And I don't think that's ever happened.
It
before.
hasn't. No, definitely. Have we even seen Rune in the semifinals?
I
I don't think we have. Daria has never made it. D-Shift, I don't think we've
you
never
might
seen
be
a
right.
D-Shift.
You might be correct. You might be correct.
Either way,
It's
way to
here
go.
now.
It's here now.
It's here now.
It's here to stay,
in its
man.
most beautiful brown muddy form.
And we could be seeing it in the playoffs as well.
Mhm.
I mean, that'd be spectacular. Just like Dragon,
Yeah.
Shadow, Sword, Dirt Runecraft.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Hey, it's interesting enough because Havencraft was our cursed deck, but Runecraft may as well be just as cursed. So we'll see. We're about to hop into the game and take a look at who will be joining Kadeemer in the finals. We'll be taking home that final invitational spot. Is it going to be Jay-Z or Les, both of which have already got one in their pocket, or is Kadeemer going to be the one that at the end of it all makes it through? And I just think that's such a cool storyline
pretty
because
sweet.
he is truly, if you go to our Discord, Kadeemer is like, he's like the guy there that he's got everything going on, he knows what's
So
happening.
you know who we want to win.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, I kind of want RuneCraft.
I want Runecraft to win
Yeah.
too. Just like selfishly, like, oh man, that'd be pretty sweet.
You'll never know who our biases are because there's so many biases going everywhere.
Especially because I was playing Dirt Runecraft.
Yeah.
Way back when.
That
way
was
back
when
I would
you were
love
just-
to see. Yeah, I
when you
would
were
love to see it.
even worse of a human being than you are now.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're
just
wrong.
mean. Yeah. for
Sorry.
sure.
Hey, for you guys out there, if you are thinking of heading over to E3, make sure you come visit us at the Twitch booth. We'll be there all E3 long. Come
Oh,
play some
man.
Shadowverse with us.
Both of them rocking the weekly champion flares. Gotta love that. And
Who
look
is
at
the better weekly champion?
We'll find out. We will definitely find out because Jay-Z has got a really good starting hand for Dirt Rune. He's got 1 drop, a 2 drop. We'll see what the exact order is going to be. Unless he's got the Dragon Oracle, right, and some clear from Breath of the Salamander. But, I mean, the Rune can run away with this.
Yeah. There's definitely opportunities for Earth Sigils. See if you can use that to burn. The Crafty Warlock.
Interesting choice to play that rather than the Dwarf Alchemist. I mean, you don't really need the extra defense. You know that Breath of the Salamander is going to be able to take it out anyway, or Blazing Breath.
It's going to automatically install the Earth Essence
Right.
there. So
Very true.
I think that's really the goal.
So now you've got the Dwarf Alchemist, maybe an Iron Smelter as well if you want to just get that ward on the board. But he's got the Sigils now. We'll see if he can draw into an option to consume them and gain the enhanced effects. Maybe a Halo Golem or a Mage of Nightfall next turn would be a godsend. Meanwhile, Lest, he's ramping up.
He's just got ramp.
He's got ramp for days, and Grimnir as well, going to be able to mitigate some of the damage.
He's going to be able to double ramp on the next turn if you just...
There's the Mage of Nightfall, not bad.
He's going to trade his 2 followers in here.
Yep, he's going to have to get an open space on the board.
Oh, is he going to swing for 0?
I hope he does. I really hope he does. I love swinging for 0. Nice!
Oh, there it is.
Nice.
The huge hit.
Feel it
Haven't
now,
seen-
Forte.
Yeah.
The pressure's on. You
Just
got to assert your
passes.
dominance in games like this. You know, you just swing for face. Yeah, for sure.
Pile it down. Oracle's still sitting in hand. Still a lot of damage coming down. Can't really affect the Nightfall because of the ambush effect.
Right. You can even evolve it next turn to make it even harder to get rid of. Oh man, especially with a Levi this turn as well. Oh, and a Piercing Rune. What a draw right on the Levi play. It stinks because, I mean, Lest had the forethought to evolve the alien. I mean, he kind of had to. That was really his only option.
Yes.
To trade into the Smelter there. So he's not going to be able to use the Piercing Rune, but he still has the Crimson Sorcery this turn.
Yeah.
And the 2-cost Piercing Rune for another turn. So all in all, very good trades. Very good trades and very good cards and choices for Jay-Z.
Now, I wonder if he wants to try to keep followers on board to go face some more, it's gonna Crimson Sorcery is, so that's kind of a little bit of a tell.
Right. It probably wants to force Les to be the one to trade the Alia.
Oh, Blazing Breath is one turn away.
Bluest water.
This is his first round, so he's not gonna get the heal, but he's going to be able to kill one of the 4 damage followers here.
Right.
He probably wants to use Sybil into the ward, and then Isla for the ramp.
Of course, leaving the
Leave
Mage of
lower.
Nightfall.
So it can be evolved here.
Because the Alia died, yeah, he was able to put himself in overflow. That's really good. Coming into a Goblin, not that great. I mean, oh my gosh, I mean, Dragon is going to be able to take this game. I mean, look at the cards that Jay-Z has.
Yeah,
He does not
I
have
think
what
he
he
needed
needs.
a little more impact here.
Right, he's going to have to like exhaust all his options just to get rid of the Sybil. He might just go face here. I mean, I think that's what he has to do.
Yeah, I think that's a smart choice. You may as well because you know you're going to be traded
Right,
in.
you're already at 20 health. You could possibly draw into the options you need in later turns.
Oh, man. Evolve on this Ouroboros as well is going to make things real tough.
For sure, especially because Ouroboros is going to be able to kill himself off by attacking this mage, healing less for 3. Man, it's making it even harder for Jay-Z to close out the game. This is going to be tough.
Halo Golem. He's still just swinging wildly for face here.
Not even able to take out the Sybil. So I mean, Halo Golem dealing 3 damage, and on the next turn, it's over, and Sybil heals for 3 anyway. So it's completely mitigated.
Yeah.
And the Ouroboros, man, another 3 damage right to face. This is Dragoncraft's game to lose right here.
Yep. 8 health remaining, and Jay-Z kind of missed his moment of opportunity. And this is kind of how aggro just ends up petering out.
Yeah, definitely.
There it is, Ouroboros to end it. Les takes the first game. And Jay-Z has to wonder, you know, he made it real far with this craft deck.
Made it real far. So we'll see if he decides to keep it into a sword matchup. If he thinks that might be a good option to do. I mean, it could prove fatal because of how aggressive sword can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really important here is that you kind of have to get that win with your Runecraft deck. I think you should just run it again and just look to draw into the options that you need.
Right. Either way, the Runecraft deck is going to have to go up against the sword deck, no matter what.
The big thing about it is there's nothing much more to say about it from the perspective of Jay-Z. But for Les, I think he played very patiently. I like that he didn't spend his oracles in the way that he did. And I think he just wanted to maintain presence on the board, and it really helped him out there.
Gotcha. He's got a shadow deck, excuse me. Either way, still, it's going to be real difficult. Could be a fast game. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to see. I like the Red Hot Ritual for just 2 damage, being able to take out a 2-drop that Les is going to be able to throw out. And the Mage Illusionist as well, so it's going to have a sticky follower on board that Shadow could have a real tough time dealing with, especially when there's only 1 zombie party. Oh, but he does draw into the Shadow Reaper.
That's going to be really important here. Red Hot Ritual has no real target.
Yeah, might want to save that in case.
Oh, the Alchemist.
Yeah, probably going to be the Alchemist just to get the standard 2/2 drop, get the Sigil in hand, setting up for later plays when you can draw into the Halo Golems and things of that nature. Oh my gosh, double Shadow Reaper. West is really liking those 2 cards in his hand right now.
So he's going to be looking for... The smart option is going to be Earth Essence Illusionist?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, there still is not been a target for Red Hot Ritual, and a turn away from Demonic Strike. It's going to have to be that. The Goblin
Opts to go for
instead
the Goblin.
of the Earth Essence, giving Les the opportunity to take out the Illusionist without gaining its enhanced effect.
He opts to use Zombie Party, but I think that's okay just in the sense that it allows the other goblins to swing. It's not going to do that, so there's opportunity here. Red Hot Ritual and the Alchemist can drop.
He's got 7 damage to face if he wanted to play the Demonic Strike. I don't think that's gonna be it. But getting another sigil here, really nice.
Evolve is on the next turn for less as well.
Right.
So this is a very telling moment. Do you double Shadow Reaper and then throw the Bone Chimera in and involve the skeleton?
Could do that. I mean, that's at least one follower dead, and I think that's going to be it. Buffing both of the Shadow Reapers up, it's got to be nice. It would have been really nice if he was able to trade off 2 followers. If, for instance, there was a follower that this evolved skeleton could trade into, like a Halo Golem or something like that, to really buff the Shadow Reapers even more. But that's still a 3-1 follower that Jay-Z's going to have to deal with, and the 2 Shadow Reapers that both have ambush, and there's a Levi coming in the hand for Jay-Z.
Yeah, if he plays Levi Evolve, he needs to create board space if he wants to use Red Hot Ritual. But he will actually earn himself quite a bit of damage.
He could use the Illusionist effect. I mean, attack into the skeleton. Even then, like, oh man, with the double Shadow Reapers, that's so scary. There's not a perfect way to do this. Either way, they've still got ambush. And if you want to try to save yourself some health, you either just completely go face and swing for the fences, hope for the best. I mean, but that's still just either way. It's a massive board that Les is going to be able to play with next turn. When there's a possibility of drawing a Cerberus even next turn as well for Les.
You're done for.
Gonna evolve the Illusionist. And that's gonna put pressure on Les to remove the Illusionist, but it's just gonna be resummoned by the Earth Essence. And even if he plays Red Hot Ritual, it could resummon itself twice.
Right.
He's gonna go ahead and play just the normal Earth Essence here. And Demonic Strike. This is a tough situation. You need to kill that Magic Illusionist so many times.
Yep.
That's 4 damage ready to go. Or you get 2 on the Illusionist, and then you play Levi Evolve and use Crimson Sorcery to finish it out.
Or Catacomb. Game's over. Catacomb just instantly win the game. Did you know that's it's has a magical effect? When you play it, you win the game.
That is a good proposal. Have you tried that on ladder?
I've tried it on ladder. Hasn't worked out. Hasn't worked out too well, actually. But we'll see. We'll see if that's what Les wants to do.
I actually think that because you're not on 6 play points either, you don't even have shadows to do it. I think there isn't a way for Les to win. We'll see. If he throws... Okay. That's the second time, and he needs to swing. He needs to kill both the goblins as well, is the thing. Zombie party. Okay. It's going to be able to be in the clear here. Very, very close.
Very close. There's still a Levi in hand and a sigil being able to take out at least one of the... oh my gosh, that's massive. Oh my gosh. So he could take out the Reaper, evolve the Levi, you get the Crimson Sorcery, play the Mage of Nightfall. And, I mean, there is going to be the Death's Breath coming out next turn, so that's going to be real tricky for Jay-Z to deal with.
Choose one or the other here. I think you need to be careful of Death's Breath, because that's certainly going to be the option here for Les to protect himself.
Right, when you've got 6 shadows, you've got...
Yep, and I think that's going to be the nail in the coffin. I mean, your top decking options, unless it's going to be Mutagenic Bolt here on the top deck.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Let's see. Mutagenic Bolt would do 5 damage.
Mutagenic Bolt would win
now
the
that I
game.
said it, I'm real nervous now. Oh, thank God.
Oh, man,
Thank
Halo
the
Golem
Lord.
without a sigil. And no space to attack with the wards. I think that's going to be the game for Lest.
Yeah. I would have freaked out if Mutagenic Bolt came up and he just tossed it over and...
You probably just would have left.
We've seen enough today. We've seen enough.
Go easy on us, please. We're
Please.
fragile.
We've seen enough today, and Jay-Z's Runecraft deck just couldn't quite push through. Was so close to lethal, in fact. That last turn for Les was really important, that he ended up having the cards available and the Shadow Reapers with the damage enough to constantly remove the Magic Illusionist.
Right, and especially with the Demon Lord himself in the hand for less. I mean, there's no way that Jay-Z's going to be able to clear off the board completely.
Who's as old as dirt?
And with only 10 health, I mean, that's going to be a massive amount of damage from Ector coming out next turn.
It's just like back in the old days.
Oh boy. That Shadow Reaper.
He's very content to watch his friends die. I'd say.
Yeah.
Very content.
And I like it. Give your opponent the ability to swing for lethal. Oh my god.
Yeah.
There he is. The horse. Demon Lord Ector.
Man, such a good card. I can see why
Impressive.
Shadow Nexus in their tournament likes to ban that card.
Mm.
It's great. It's probably one of the best cards in the game, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. It really has brought in so many victories as well in the NGE Shadowverse Open. And Les is going to add one more to that list. So Les is going to move on to 0, and that's kind of within the scope of how Exodium saw the semis kind of playing out.
Right.
And so he's kind of 1 for 2 in terms of predictions here.
Mhm.
Runecraft is out, so there's no longer that kind of bias there. So it can't win the tournament.
Mhm.
It's going to be Kadeemer or it's going to be Les.
Right.
And Les has 1 win under his belt. He's bringing a Dragoncraft deck, this time without the Imperial Dragoon and not even kind of other kind of discard damage
Right.
variants.
It's not a
of
Dragonoid
Dragoncraft.
OTK, nothing fancy.
Yeah, it's just Runecraft with Polyphonic Roar, which is kind of the new thing, it
Right.
seems like. And let's take a look at the bracket to see what our finals is looking like. Kadeemer fighting through, and everybody is 2-0ing everybody else today.
So we could have a returned victor, or we could have a new lone wolf
Mhm.
making it to the playoffs next week.
Mhm.
Stay tuned after these messages.
After these
Just kidding.
messages.
We don't have messages.
Hey, I have a message for everybody.
Yo, what's up?
As we're getting to the finals end of the tournament, would just love to remind you to go ahead and visit our beautiful website, shadowverse.ng.io, to find out anything like broadcast schedule. You can also see the leaderboard and get information on when the playoffs will be streamed as well. Also, make sure to go check out @WatchNGE is our social media channel. You can go ahead and talk to us there. We'll be watching, and any announcements about the tournament will be sent out to that Twitter account. Would love if you guys tweet at us and kind of talk to us. Also, make sure to check the Twitch panels for information on how you can win 3,500 vials and build your own legendary. You too can have an Ector horsey.
Speaking of horses, who's your horse in this race?
I think Kadeemer.
Kadeemer?
I think Kadeemer.
I'm kind of feeling Kadeemer too. Like if only because of having the chance to have like a new player, of like a
Absolutely.
completely unique winner.
Absolutely. So, before we get these finals kicked off, let's have Exodium join us for one last time and talk about exactly what we experienced. Exodium, how are you in these final moments of NGE Shadowverse Open number 10?
It's great. I'm excited, just like Sterling is, to see if we have a new winner so that we can get some new blood in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Kadeemer X has kind of been really working hard, playing a lot, and competing pretty much, I feel like, every single week. And to make such a breakout performance today. And obviously, you can see, I feel like, and maybe you might be a better judge of this, but I feel like looking at his line of play and kind of his decision making, it's very refined, I feel like.
He's definitely on top of his play. I'll give him that. I think that mid sword / his control sword is a little wonky of a deck, but he obviously knows how to pilot it very well. So, I mean, hats off to him.
All right, well, let's take a look at Kadeemer's deck here, his second deck that he's fielding today, and get a closer look. It's going to be Dragoncraft. This is going to consist of kind of that high end that we were talking about, double Zeus, double Genesis Dragon, plus a Polyphonic Roar. And you kind of mentioned that this was a result of kind of the changes to Dragoncraft and Ramp not giving the guaranteed or kind of more consistent endgame options. How do you think this particular Dragoncraft deck will match up against Lest?
I think that his dragon list looks a lot more tuned than any of the other dragon lists that I've seen. Mostly because he's not like 2 of this, 1 of this, 3 of this. He's just like, I've got 2 of every single one of my end game options. I've got a very solid early end, of the curve. He's got emissaries to search out his top end. So I feel like he's got a very smooth dragon list to take into this.
How do you feel about the Ivory Dragon in the deck as opposed to something like a Blazing Breath, having a 1-drop instead of some removal?
He assumed he wasn't going to play against a lot of aggro today, and he was absolutely correct. He might have played it against it a couple rounds, you know, like he probably had to get to the finals, but now that he's here, he gets to play against lower decks, so they're definitely going to shine.
Interesting. So, I feel like he's pretty slated. I mean, his deck seemed to be doing well. Let's take a look at Lest and what his final deck is going to be. It's a Shadowcraft variant, and obviously we just saw this mid-Shadow. What more can you say, Exodium? What more can you say?
Well, there's the small thing that I can say about it is that he chose to run 2 Prince Catacombs and only 1 Orthrus in his deck. A lot of times you see that number switched, or even 3 Orthrus and 1 Prince Catacomb.
Right.
But obviously they've been servicing him pretty well on the day. But like you said, there's not really much to say about it. It's a great list. It's a great deck. It'll probably perform very well.
So, between... Now, you said it would either be Limits or Lest. And now that Lest is here, now that you've seen Kadeemer play a little bit more, do you change your decision?
So I still think that Les is going to win. I think he's a more experienced player. I also think he brought the better 2 decks. However, I want to see Kadeemer win. I want to see new blood. I want to see somebody new win. And with the way he's been playing today, he deserves to win. So I want to see that.
The heart goes out to Kadeemer, but the mind goes to Lest. That's going to be the predictions that he drops down. And actually, you know, after hearing Exodium speak, I really feel like I'm in line with his thought. Also, I'm a sheep, by the way, but I think that's a very reasonable statement.
We've got an intelligent guest. Let's just... Yeah, okay, you're totally right. Oh, yeah.
Whatever you say, boss. Whatever you say. All right. Hey, we're about to jump into the finals game. I'd like to take this moment to really give a huge shout out and thanks to Shadow Nexus Exodium. A pleasure having you on. Super intriguing to hear about your story and kind of your perspective of the game. Thanks so much for taking out the time from your day to join us here on the Shadowverse Open on this last open entry tournament. Let's get in and see how Kadeemer does against Lest. Will Kadeemer be able to rise above and become a new champion?
It's gonna take the heart, or it's gonna be the mind over matter. I mean, that's kind of the battle we've got. I mean, they're both obviously very experienced players who have been playing the game for a very long time. But I mean, like Exodium said, it could be the superior deck list of Lest that takes the cake, because I mean, the Shadow deck, it's good. It's probably the best, one of the best decks in the game. So we'll see if that's able to overtake the sword and the dragon decks that Kadeemer has brought to the table.
This version of Latham, this was Mofu's kind of can't unsee moment that he shared with me, is extremely concerned with his health.
He's taking those pills and vitamins, just very concerned with his health, yeah.
Healthy dude. Probably lives in California.
Goes to all those green burrito bars with the quinoa and
the wheatgrass shots.
Jeez, just give me a burger, man. That's all I want.
Sounds good. Sounds great. Kadeemer starts out with a whole souled swing and gets himself a knight.
Gotta love that trade into a Lyrial Archer, especially when there's an Alia coming out next turn for Lest. I mean, there's ramp in his hand. He's got the board clear. He's got the ward. This is quintessential Dragoncraft right here. This is everything that you want to see. But Kadeemer, he's got the options as well. There's a veteran Lancer and a novice trooper as well, but there's not a floor fencer on turn 4. He's not going to be able to have that option to really gain the tempo and gain the advantage. That could be crucial.
Big thing for me here is there's no 4-drop in Kadeemer's hand, no Geno, nothing like that, which would be the best way to break through Grimmer. But actually, Lest opts not to play it. He's going to try to ramp with double Ayla, and this could pay off in huge.
It could, especially considering what Kadeemer has in his hand.
There's the Roland!
But there's still not even a 4-drop. I mean, he's going to have to...
You do realize we haven't seen Roland play today, but if Kadeemer wins, a Roland deck would have won in the NGE Shadowverse Open.
That's a step up. I mean, like, I'll take that. You know, if we can't have Haven win, that's fine. I'm not a Haven player. I don't care.
And I mean, this is a lot of pressure here.
This is a lot of pressure. He's gonna go for face right here.
There's also no Sybil in hand either, which is the biggest way that Dragoncraft shifts momentum in their favor and kind of moves into the late game.
Oh my gosh. The gauntlet has been thrown down.
Oh
Latham,
my god.
Latham is mad. There is, Breath of the Salamander. That's just such value. The pressure that Kadeemer had is absolutely gone now.
So you can play Luminous Mage. Now, I haven't even seen an Albert today. I don't remember when I looked at this list if there was actually an Albert
There
in
is.
there.
There is.
But that means on 5 play points, your cost-effective option is Luminous Mage, which can't swing immediately. You do set up for possibly a strong Alwita's turn. Oh my god!
Oh my gosh, he just ruined the
What?
Albert. Absolutely insane. He's
This
gonna
is
have
super dangerous. He has 2 Evolve Orbs. He could
Right.
spend 1 here, do 5, and then he threatens if the Albert doesn't get removed, which I hope to God you remove him. He threatens 10.
He does have the evolve.
Plus you have the Fang Blade
Just
on.
the evolve Sahagwheel for 6 damage, and then Alia. I mean, that would take out the Albert. But oh my gosh.
Okay, those are some pretty solid survival options there.
And the Lyrial evolve ping for 1. That's enough to take out the Albert as well.
Ping 1, swing.
There's a lot more
I would
left
actually
from.
swing with the Isla for the killing blow as well. Yep, you're gonna need to there. That's gonna guarantee that you get 10 play points here.
So is Bahamut coming out next turn?
Oh, double Alwitas.
But he's only got 1 more evolve orb
Don't
remaining.
evolve it. Save the evolve.
Oh no, he uses it. That's his last one. So on turn 7, he's got the Roland. That's nice. But I mean,
The Roland's not gonna be able to gain tempo. That's the thing. You play the
Right.
Roland. That's it.
but if the Bahamut comes down, or possibly the Grimnir, I think Grimnir could be an absolutely
He's got double
solid play.
Grimners, so he's got Grimners for days.
Right. And then, oh no, he uses the Bahamut. So Bahamut, he's not going to be able to get rid of the amulet that Roland summons, the Durandal. That's going to stay on the board. And Bahamut, I mean, when you trade for face with Bahamut, it's only going to do more damage.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is Roland gonna win?
Is Roland gonna win?
I mean, okay, you play Roland, he plays Grimner. You
Uh-huh.
play Fangblade, he plays Grimner. You swing.
I mean, but man,
unclear. And then he plays Grimner and he wins. I think Kadeemer might win by Grimner.
oh my goodness, and he still has the Alwitas and the Fangblade Slayer as well. This could be a death by Grimnir game.
God. So this Roland is guaranteed to take 2 shots here. Either Grimner plus Bahamut, or Bahamut plus Ouroboros.
Or it could be Ouroboros evolved of Ouroboros and then face with
Actually,
Bahamut, but that's still only 4 damage with the Durandal.
If you play Ouroboros, actually, I think you kind of lock yourself into a bad spot because then Fangblade will finish you off.
Right. But he doesn't have an Evolve Orb for the Fangblade Slayer, so it's just 3 damage. But still,
But
I mean, like having the
In
ward
the
with
sense,
Grimnir.
yeah, because if you don't have a ward, then the Alwitas can get value. The thing about playing Grimner is the Alwitas won't. It's much more difficult for the Alwitas to gain value. Right? And so you almost have to play the Fangblade to clear out the ward. But if you play the Ouroboros, then you can play the Alwitas, swing for face, and then play the Fangblade on the turn after that. And then you set yourself up for an even more likely Grimner finish if he's still alive.
Right.
So that's just to get the extra swing. That means this is going to do 4 damage. Bahamut's probably looking real confused right about now.
Wait, I thought my fire was better than that.
Lancer, Alwitas. This is real dangerous. This is really dangerous, man.
Oh my gosh.
So there's going to be a way for him to kill off.
There's another Bahamut. But
if he does it,
if he
he's
does that,
dead.
he loses. If he does that, he
Oh my
loses.
god, it's such a bait.
It's such a
Grimner
tempting
will kill
offer.
off everything and do 4 damage.
And you
So
get
you
the
can do
ward.
12. You can do 4, 8, 12 damage here.
Oh my gosh, either way.
But
I think,
you'll
I think,
lose.
I think
because
Roland just won the game.
You need to suicide your Ouroboros. Thank God.
Yep, gets the healing. Oh my gosh.
Okay. So this is the thing. The play is probably going to be Grimner. If he's still alive. We'll see.
But
Rather the Fangblade.
Right.
Oof. Is he dead? If 4 plus 3 on the Ouroboros. Enhance Albert? No, he can't do it either. I think Kadeemer might have just fallen short. He needs to spam
no.
wards. And maybe even the Grimner now.
You and I, knight.
That's going to give him the Evolve.
My sword brings hope.
But even if he does that, I mean, the Grimnir from Lest is going to be able to set up a Bahamut to make
Yeah.
the killing blow.
The veteran Lancer will fall.
Oh, no. Oh, my
There was
gosh,
no way to do
Roland.
it. There
Dang
was
it.
no way to do it here. Grimnir comes down.
Polyphonic Roar, a footnote in this game.
So close. I cannot believe how close that was. I cannot believe how close that was.
That was so close. Oh, my gosh. That came down to the wire.
Yeah.
But still, Lest Dragoncraft is off the table now.
Yeah. I really, less making the decision to suicide the Ouroboros was like really important.
Very,
Very,
you're
very
absolutely
important.
crucial. I didn't see that when we were talking about it, but like getting the heal was like that's what won the game.
Yeah.
That's what enabled him to survive long enough to get the killing blow with
Oh
the
my
Bahamut
God.
there.
The trend today has been whoever wins the first game will win the match.
That's
in
right.
2-0
Yeah, we've
fashion.
seen 2-0s all day.
Can Kadimir bring it back? It's real tough. The Roland deck. Do you want to see Roland win the NGE Shadowverse Open right at the end?
Yes, I do. I do. Oh man, I'm wishing for it. But I mean, all Lest has to do is win with his mid-range shadow deck.
Yes.
Not a tall order. Not that much of a tall order. Kadimir is a formidable opponent, and it's going to be the Dragon on Shadow matchup. This was
Come on.
what we saw time and time again in the first few weeks of the tournament.
Oh, what an opening hand.
And what a fitting way to end the 10th week.
Oh my
possibly
God.
the last game we see today if Lest is able to take it.
I think as Lester pretty happy, he's going to keep a lot
He's going to keep the Shadow Reaper.
of ramp.
Interesting. And there's ramp and there's ward for Kadimir. Oh man, I love this hand for Lest. It's the Shadow Dream. I mean, maybe you might want a 4-drop instead of the Shadow Reaper. Maybe have the Shadow Reapers later. But I don't think he's complaining at all because he did come into
Gets
the other
back
2-drop.
The Polyphonic and the Zeus.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
real concerning.
Mm-hmm. Especially when the Bone Chimera is going to be coming out next turn as well.
Oh my God.
No follower to use to target with the zombie party.
Okay. Now he can use Imprisoned Dragon to slow down, or can use Ayla to further ramp. I am leaning on Imprisoned Dragon.
But I mean, there's also the Shadow Reaper, or the Catacomb as well. So
Already
Shadow
down to
Reaper and
16.
then Catacomb as well. I mean, like even the Imprisoned Dragon is not going to be able to stand up. It's just going to be feeding the Shadow Reaper even more.
Okay. Well, here it is. Draconic Fervor is also an option. The Evolved Ayla also an option. So interesting. He actually wants to maintain damage to face, which I think is actually a better decision overall.
Right, making it even more difficult for Kadimir to come back and gain a foothold. There is a first Evolve Orb here. Oh, coming into a Genesis Striker. He might just have to Draconic Fervor. It's not going to be that. He's going to gain the tempo. Or try to get some tempo with an Evolved Ayla here. But still, with a Catacomb possibly coming out next turn, that's...
The big difficulty is he can't actually kill it off on this turn, which is super important. Because it's unlikely that Les is going to swing into it, which means that you have to wait another turn before that play point comes into effect. He does. He wants to get the double skeletons.
Right, getting the absolute perfect Prince Catacomb this turn.
What are you hiding inside?
And now he's got the Actor for turn 7 as well. So even if Kadimir's able to draw into Breath of the Salamander, it's not going to help him. It's going to take out the Shadow Reaper. Actually, no, it won't. It'll be at 6. Oh,
He'll
my
have
goodness.
1 health remaining if you use Breath of the Salamander.
Oh, no.
Oh,
He can only
boy.
play 1 card. He can't play Grimnir or Draconic Fervor.
He's trying to
just
draw into something.
Oh, my gosh.
It's 2-0s
It's
all the way
mid-range
through.
Shadow taking the 10th week and less as a repeat winner.
How this was just probably the single weirdest tournament in all the weeks of casting the Shadowverse Open.
Weirdest, yet most satisfying.
In all the weeks that I casted all the community tournaments, in any tournament that I've watched, this has by far been the weirdest experience. Everything was 2-0. There were some wacky decks. There was some wacky line of plays.
I mean, wacky.
Wacky.
It's completely solid across the board.
Mhm.
Decks we don't normally see.
Yes.
D-shift. Aggro dirt.
Yeah.
I mean, solid decks, but decks we don't normally see.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the bracket and see what the result of the last Shadowverse Open is. Lest will join the ranks of the 7th as a double two-time winner, the two-time winner of the NGE Shadowverse Open, giving him a bump in points as well as recognition going into the playoffs as kind of a player to watch out for. Be careful for Les, and he's made real close cuts multiple times as well.
Yeah,
He's came
and that's
second
and I,
place,
this
think.
this win right here means that Les takes the top points earner. He's first place in the points right now. He overcame the 7th.
So congratulations to Les for grabbing first place. Of course, Kadeemer for second place. A very close run here. As we're about to wrap up the show, make sure next week playoff starts. Who is going to be the season champion? The champion of Tempest of the Gods, really. Make sure to catch us at E3. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff. We've got the PC Gamer Show. We're going to have a big announcement. We've got the Twitch couch interview with Hafu, kind of releasing 2 new cards from the expansion, kind of giving information on that. Make sure to check out the booth to kind of hang out with Side Games guys, play with Red New, get to know and meet the community cosplayer Moon Jellies. And also, make sure to check out our social media channels, Facebook or Shadowverse's official Facebook and Shadowverse's official Twitter, to learn more about how you can win during E3 your very own Dark Angel Olivia figurine. And it's just been incredible. We're about to gear up for the playoffs, and I feel like it's just been such a rush. I'm.
It's been a fast day.
It's been a
really fast day. Now that we have the lineup,
Mhm.
now that we know the players, what are you most looking forward to with the playoffs next week?
I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing these players who are at the top end of the leaderboard that we can take a look at and see how they match up against the other competition, especially the ones that have been a little more hidden, like Exodium, like Cure Mango. These players who haven't really shown what technology that they have.
Who showed up, made a big impact, retreated, and have been brooding in their caves, preparing their decks, and making sure that they make their voices known for the playoffs next week.
So there we have it. These are the invites. We got Cure Mango, Exodium, Les, Noah, Unlucker, Jay-Z, the 7th, Shugo. These are the guys who are invited to go in. And that means it's not going to be 6 from the leaderboard. It's going to be 8 from the leaderboard. So I'm not exactly sure what the updated leaderboard is going to look like, but over here, these guys are pretty much going to be in it. We've got Omega, Ottawave, 5 Pawns, Potwasher, SP Marts, Stoles, and a few more that are going to join the roster for the top 16 of Season 1, who are about to play it off. We're finally at that point where they're going to be playing it off for a lot of money, $10,000 on the line.
A lot, $10,000. That's a lot of money. That's so much money.
The culmination of the NGE Shadowverse Open is upon us, and with that, the last open entry tournament is about to come to an end. That's Sterling. I'm Rainey. Make sure you tune in for the playoffs. Also, keep your eye out for everything E3. It's been a pleasure bringing this broadcast to you guys. We will see you next week.